8. We have Drag. Sorry, I need to double check real quick. This replay is Drag versus Team 5, and game 1 is going to be, or set 1 rather, match 1 is going to be Y versus Magic Bullet. So let's get right into it, starting with Tier 3, since these are all labeled. We'll work our way from Tier 3 right on up to Tier number 1. So, alright, game number 1, here we go. Y versus Magic Bullet. Let's see who's going to have the upper hand today. We actually saw some games of Y the other day. Sounds like to me my sound is maybe a little bit low, if indeed this needs to change. And now it's too loud, let me know. But yeah, in the bottom left-hand corner as the white Terran, we have Y. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the blue Terran, we have none other than Magic Bullet. Of course, this is CPL Tier 3. We're starting Tier 3 and then working our way on up in skill. I believe Tier 3 is somewhere around sub 1400 points. I forget the exact specific distribution, but I believe that's roughly what we're looking at here. So this is probably more or less E level. Could be anywhere in there. Y felt like he was probably a E level Terran, and I don't think I've seen Magic Bullet play, so we'll be getting to see his play here for the first time today. Tipo going down on 9 for both players, so at least the opening here looking pretty normal, pretty standard, pretty comfortable. A little bit of discussion about previous games played and maps and such things. And of course the map, if you guys can't already ascertain, or if you're really new, the map is Fighting Spirit. Great map. A little bit overplayed. If you've been around the scene for a long time, you might have gotten maybe a little bit tired of it, but it's just a good, solid map. It's a good map to learn the game on. You know, things are simple in certain ways. It's fairly straightforward. Pretty symmetrical map. Used a shit ton. And let's see, we have a barracks going down here for Magic Bullet. And a barracks for Y. Now, how are we on our timings here? Looks like we're at about the same here. So it looks like both players at least have some sort of early build down pat. At this point, we're going to have an SCV scout going on. Now, we notice Magic Bullet has built his barracks quite far back into his base. That would be unusual for the other matchups, but if he's intending to take this barracks and scout to the left, I agree with it. And then Y has also built his barracks fairly forward, so that's good. Usually in TVT, it makes the most sense to place the barracks somewhere where you're going to have the quickest reduced scout distance towards another base. Barracks are almost universally used in TVT to get extra scouting intel. And in comes the SCV here of Y. Going to be taking a look around. Marine is out. Going to chase that away. Let's see if he starts a second Marine. It looks like one Marine for Y here. He's got enough gas. Factory's already started here for Magic Bullet. Y's factory going down now. And idle Marine. I guess the SCV just kind of ran around the Marine and died. Didn't really get microed. So Y hasn't seen a whole hell of a lot, but now the Marine going to be positioned here at the front for Mr. Magic Bullet. And we're going to have a second Marine. It looks like Y is maybe sticking on one Marine. If he is, I would like to see him float that barrack. There we go. Alright, so we got the barracks popping up, floating on out. See what's going on. And we got the factory coming down here. And we got one on gas and one on gas for both players, so not looking like either player is intending to open with tanks. We're just going to see some vultures and an expand coming up. Oh, and look at this. Why is SCV slipping around these two Marines? He is going to be able to see that factory here. See what else he scouts. At the moment, not much else. Has not actually seen the CC go down. His SCV was already in the base before that. And then meanwhile, Magic Bullet dropping on down here. So far things looking pretty organized and smooth and crisp for each player, so that's not bad. I would, just on this alone, I would be inclined to think we're looking at like E or D skill level here. Most F players, in my experience, they struggle to follow a build consistently. And a Vulture for Y here is going to deny the scout for Magic Bullet up to a point, but Magic Bullet has seen that command center going down and the factory on the way here, and we're going to get another depot. The barracks are going to say hi to each other. It actually looks like Magic Bullet moved his barracks out a little bit and then kind of, well, forgot about it. Alright, so Marine and Vulture chilling at the front. And we've got 3 back on gas and 3 back on gas. And, oh, actually, you know what? Despite taking SCVs off gas, Magic Bullet is opting to open with a siege tank. Now he's playing extremely defensively here. More defensive than you would ever need to for TVT, especially given that he's already seen a Vulture with his, and an expansion with his SCV. He doesn't need to be this far back at this point. If you see an expansion, you see a Vulture, you know what Terran's opened with. There's no real danger. You can set the tanks and the Marines here out at the natural, or even fairly soon here, considering going to the bridge or starting to move out onto the map, because TVT, of course, if you're new to the map, is all about map position and map control. It's much less about, I'm going to attack and kill my opponent. Oh, Vulture runs in here for half a sec, but the siege tank is going to go ahead and shoot away on that Vulture, and in the meanwhile, Marine's starting to tickle the barracks. But Magic Bullet has seen what he wants to see. He's seen a factory. He has seen a starport. And it looks like the tank here is sieging up for Magic Bullet. And a second tank is out. And if he seizes a second tank here, oh. So this is extremely defensive for Magic Bullet. And there are these Vultures coming in. They shouldn't really do a whole lot. He does have mines out, and he is getting a starport of his own. In fact, it's a little bit faster. Now, will we see a control tower added here? Are we thinking Wraith? Are we thinking Dropship? I think we'll still probably see some Wraiths from Y first. It'd be a little unusual to get a Dropship with just one factory unless he really wants to go Vulture drop. But there's a pretty good spotting barracks in position for that. Sieged up pretty defensively back here. I don't feel like Vulture drop would be super powerful. And of course, here's the potential concern. These tanks obviously are chilling here back on the ledge, so it's defensive, it's strong, but it actually isn't defending the natural because the tank range only shoots out to about here. So Y can come in here and siege a tank here, and then he's actually already attacking the command center. So that's a bit worrisome here. And the other worrisome thing is Y is being allowed to get these mines and actually set up a tank here, and he's getting more or less a contain for free. And oh, Vulture's running in here maybe a little too far here. Looks like they are held position, so they are going to fall to these tanks here. Tries to come forward, so not really able to pay attention to those. And money running a bit high here for Y. You see that it is going to be a Wraith. Now that is a nice move. That will allow him to get rid of this tank here, especially because he's made a dropship. Well, that makes it doubly unfortunate. He could have at least tried dropping the Vultures into the main or something similar. Now there is a tank back here for Magic Bullet to defend. Probably a bit on the unnecessary side, but he has... actually, no, he hasn't gotten an SCV in to scout that starboard, so he actually doesn't know the dropship is coming. And he may eventually need to bring this barracks back over here to use it for extra spotting. And with this Wraith, he can actually go over here and kill this barracks and deny the scouting. We can see there's a scan going down. I'm going to assume that's a Magic Bullet scan, simply because, well, it wouldn't make any sense otherwise. And hey, 80s Mullet, thanks for the host, man. It is appreciated. Alright, now here is the drop loaded up, but remember, there is one tank here. Let's see how the reactions are. Plenty of time to see it. He should notice. But of course, this is E level, so it's not a guarantee, despite... Okay, tank is moving around, so he's definitely aware the dropship is coming. First of all, we got another tank coming back. Looks like no movement from Y at the natural here, so just focus on the drop. No mines being laid as of yet. Vulture's taking quite a bit of damage. That's a pretty good glitch, though. Will get one mine hit. He actually gets a tank out of that, so that is nice. So trading 2 Vultures for a tank, yeah, okay. Not the most destructive drop in the world, but certainly a good drop here. Really nice for Y that the mines glitched out in that manner. And we can see, oh man, alright, so Magic Bullet is really going for the Magic Bullet here. He's going to go 3-port Wraith and just say, fuck you, you're going to die to my race. I don't think you're going to make anti-air. And somewhat nice for him, he has not actually shown his hand as far as Wraiths go. They're just kind of there, existing. He's got one over in the corner here. I don't believe he's killed a dropship. Oh, there's the dropship. Okay, yeah. So he hasn't shown this Wraith. He's making more, so he's trying to kind of keep them hidden, and then come out here with a bunch of Wraiths and be like, hey, sup, boy? Sup, boy? How you doing? And do we have an armory? That's... Okay, we do have an armory. But we are not adding any Goliaths yet. I don't know if range has been upgraded. And Y is starting a third base here. He has the contain. I still dislike the fact that Magic Bullet is sitting in his main. This is really a rough spot to be in. I mean, if Y makes a few Goliaths, and yeah, he's getting scanners and such, maybe a turret, then this contain is never getting broken. Y is on 3 bases, and Magic Bullet has just ceded map position to Y. Oh, what a scan. Okay, that should prompt a switch. Okay, immediately Goliaths begin. So that... Y, or Magic Bullet has his moment now. He needs to go bust up this contain with the Wraiths and get out on the map. If he gives Y enough time to get over here with Goliaths and throw up a few turrets at home, it will be a very easy game for Y to win. He'll just have perfect map position. He'll have a much faster third base. He'll be just in a great spot. I mean, there's no way he's really getting out. He could try to go into drop ships, but I don't think he's going to do that. He's invested so much in these Wraiths. Y really needs to get a few more factories down. He does have 5. His economy is really starting to kick in. Well, I say that, but actually I lied. His economy is actually not starting to kick in because he hasn't made quite enough SCVs here. In fact, he's very deficient in SCVs. It tends to be a case for most low-level players just don't make nearly enough SCVs, so the economy is a bit weak, and there hasn't been any sort of a transfer yet. Although, in fairness, given his SCV count, like, this transfer is actually not worth it because he's... Well, actually, no, that was about perfect. All right, well, I take that back. He transferred just the right number. He does have 1 per patch, but you can see his saturation is only going to be at about 1 per patch, which is very deficient saturation, especially for 11 minutes in the game. He should have at least 2, maybe even 2.5 per patch, and if he did, he'd probably be at, oh, I don't know, 140 to 130 to 160 supply now, instead of 98 supply, and just be more or less ready to A-move. Wraith's coming in here to do a little bit of harass, picking up a few SCVs. There's 1 turret up. I guess he's not going to engage the turret. Certainly 8 Wraiths is enough to go for the turret and dive on if you want to. Although I will say, remember, Y hasn't made too many SCVs, and this little counter of Wraiths here has been totally unprepared, and there's no actual response yet from Y. And oddly, Y's response is going to be to dive in here, and this, as long as these tanks siege up, well, he'll actually be able to get in here and kill the natural, but if Magic Bullet just sieges up, this is going to be a disastrous move for Y, although Magic Bullet is very, very out of position, fighting with primarily unsieged tanks here. I guess he just wants to secure his ramp. Meanwhile, the Wraiths are killing all of the SCVs. Now we have the siege up, but it's going to force a lift. He needs to lift his natural. Oh no, he's not going to. The natural is for sure going to die. He's not paying attention to it, and 1 Wraith here will break up these tanks, and the base is safe, but Y is losing a ton of SCVs here. Supply dropping quite a bit. There's actually a Wraith here. Now there's just 1 base mining. There are 2 turrets there. There will be enough turrets to deter these Wraiths with any sort of a repair. Should not be fighting these turrets. Needs to probably run away, maybe bring the Wraiths back and clean this up, although now there are 3 Goliaths here, so a very entrenched position for Y. That was really unfortunate. I honestly think that that was a terrible decision for Y to do this. But had Magic Bullet just put the tanks up here and sieged up, given the way Y did that, oh, he's actually running forward into the tanks, so this will potentially allow the moment that the, well, maybe not, there's a few more Goliaths back here. I was going to say, if the Wraiths actually clear this out, this game can become okay for Magic Bullet, but he definitely needs to get rid of these tanks. Wraiths kind of firing away a bit willy-nilly here. But like when Y was moving in, if these tanks would have all been sieged up, all of this would have just blown up. It was like a really crazy kamikaze counter that he didn't need to do. He just needed to bring like 2 Goliaths back and be fine. But instead he went for this crazy counter, and it only worked because for some reason Magic Bullet refused to siege any of his tanks. And uh-oh, tanks are coming forward here on walk command and in a line no less. But he does get some tanks up to the position of the natural, so that is good for him here. But the downside is he's actually lost his natural. And while he did get a lot of SCV kills, and probably got to a point briefly where he had more SCVs, he lost some at the natural, and he lost the natural itself, so his economy is just absolutely fucked right now, for lack of a better word. Y could use 2 more on gas here. Y's economy is still hurting. He is producing SCVs, certainly not as much as we'd like to see. I mean, this is a pretty bad economy for 13 minutes, 30 seconds into a game. We're looking at like 6 or 7 SCVs there. We've got maybe 10 here. 4 or 5 here. It's just, you know, he's got a base and a half of economy, but it's a lot better than, well, 1 base of economy. What do we have here? SCV counts are actually very similar in numbers, but again, they would be much higher with a 2nd base here for Y had he, or for Magic Bullet had he had his tanks sieged up. But he's still now dealing with this contain, this position of Y. Y has had time to turret up a little bit, so the position's still very, very good for Y. In all honesty, it's probably better at this point for Y to just sit behind this bridge. Sitting right here, the tanks could sort of come across and kind of move in and siege up with what resembles like a nice wide line or an arc. Sieged back, it's much harder to do, and it just makes the contain almost unbreakable. It's a really powerful position. He's actually sieging, blocking his natural, and the fact that he's just sitting here on one base and not doing anything is really, really bad for Magic Bullet. It's basically guaranteeing his loss. He's in a terrible spot. Okay, well, at least he's trying to retake the space, but he's going to have to move these tanks maybe up over here or something. He has just enough room to take this base. These spotter wraiths are actually pretty nice, but quite a few turrets out there to prevent the wraiths from actually sniping the tanks, and no real attempt to play around this. You know, I think first mistake for Magic Bullet was sieging up this defensively inside. He should have been sieged out forward outside of his bridges, actually had some position of some sort on the map so this didn't happen in the first place. And then the Wraith counter was really nice, but the second major mistake was not having all these tanks sieged up. And then I would say the third thing that is not great is as soon as he realized he was contained like this, the better option would have been to grab the dropships and try to do something with the dropships. Or the other option would be to really commit to trying to break the contain, do a big SCV pull, and try to break the contain. But the better option would have been saying, okay, well, I see that you're putting all your units up here at the front, and it was all his units, so I'm going to take 2 dropships and just drop, you know, 3 dropships, drop 4 or 5 tanks, and some vultures in your main, and watch everything else die. And then you have to take your contain back and try to get rid of my drop that's now in a perfect position inside your base. And Y had very, very little preparation for that. So I guess like the general way I would distill the decision-making aspect of that is if you're contained, like, don't get contained in the first place in TVT is good, but if you are, then your thought needs to be, okay, if I attack into his contain, it's going to be really efficient for him. I may or may not even break it, but it's certainly going to be really efficient for him. It's not a good deal for me, so I don't want to do that. So then the question becomes, how can I play around that? Can I make wraiths to avoid the contain and break the contain that way? Can I go around it? Can I sneak a couple bases? You know, there's got to be some sort of option. If you just are contained and then you just try to fight the contain, that's usually picking the worst option, especially if it's a reasonably strong contain. I mean, if you know you can break it, if it's a weak contain, then break it. But if it's a decent contain, then playing into the contain is like playing into the hands of exactly what the player wants you to do. Now, he is trying to take this base. He's actually trying to expand a shitload. Holy shit, he built a fuckload of command centers. I didn't even realize that. Jesus Christ. Do we have a +2 upgrade? Okay, so Y is almost going to be at +2 here fairly soon. Magic Bullet is sneaking bases like mad, or trying to. He's actually made 2 CCs, 2 extra CCs, and floated them out. Unsieging here. Okay, he's trying to get like an inch of space, but he's actually in range, so I think he's going to end up losing a couple tanks here, and probably this one as well. Is it in range? Yeah, it's going to be close. +2 is not quite done. Which tank shoots first? Shit, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, he loses 2 more tanks here. Money really hurting. So now he's making a bunch of dropships. He actually does have this fleet of dropships, and this actually still has the potential to do some damage, although earlier there was 0 turrets, now there are some turrets. Which might limit the dropship movement a little bit. I mean, no doubt a drop of 3, 4, 5 dropships is going to get in and unload plenty of units. But Y just putting everything into his contain. And from Y's perspective, I would say the thought process here should be, oh, okay, well, I got this guy contained. It's a pretty powerful position for me. I can expand rather aggressively, which he didn't necessarily do. And the other part of the contain is basically, okay, I know he's contained, so he's probably not going to try to just fight my contain. He's probably going to try to do something about it. So what does that leave him? Wraiths? Okay, I can prepare for that. And or drops, I can prepare for that, which usually means starting to get up something of a turret ring and possibly having a few units at home, or maybe a couple wraiths of your own to try to shoot down dropships. But you gotta kind of expect that. And Y would have been caught very off guard by dropships or that kind of play. And we even see how off guard Y was caught by those raids. I mean, he lost all of the SCVs at his natural and quite a few in his main. It really set him back. I mean, he's obviously fully rebounded from that now. He's got his +2. And, oh, well, that's air attack. Holy shit. I did not realize he was getting Wraith upgrade. So he's not going to have, Magic Bullet's not going to have +2 anytime soon, so huge tank advantage. Literally +2 siege tank attack in TVT might be the most powerful upgrade in StarCraft. The difference between 2-shotting tanks and 3-shotting tanks is obviously ridiculous. And yeah, you're absolutely right, Mr. Waste Melam Toxic. Waste Melam Toxic. I don't know what the Melam is. You're absolutely right. He is expanding. Unfortunately, he's expanding far too little, far too late. Now, it's a little bit sloppy that Y isn't checking bases, looking for this, because if something went wrong for Y, he did something really bad, and all of a sudden his opponent has all these bases, then he's going to really regret this loss, because these are bases that just don't deserve to exist at all. The fact that he let him have this base is not great. The fact that this base is being snuck is not great. And I mean, if Y just sits here for the next couple minutes and Magic Bullet turrets up and gets a few factories and some tanks here, then it becomes a game again. Now the upgrades are still going to be really good for Y, but it would be a pretty big mistake for Y. He does have a few dropships though, so he actually does have the ability to shut down a base like this, particularly if he keeps pumping those dropships, which he is. So that should allow him to break up this base. He'll have a few options, and Magic Bullet actually gets some some vultures out on the map here via this third base, but unfortunately it looks like Y is ready for this and is just going to devour those vultures alive. And of course upgrades here are favoring Y, although he's stopped upgrading here at 2-0. He's not started an armor upgrade. He's not started that third attack upgrade. Let's see, there was a mine at the bottom and on the right. Yeah, there's one here. But this base has been allowed to sneak. This base has been allowed to sneak. I don't know. And it looks like Magic Bullet has actually found some nice SCVs here. So getting, what is that, maybe 8-9 kills? 2 or 3 on most of the vultures. So Y should probably send some vultures back to deal with this. It was weird that he didn't, because he was actually fighting this over here, and then he just basically said, well, whatever, I'll just let these vultures run around. I don't know if he's just scared a little bit that maybe he thinks Magic Bullet just has a shitload in here and he's going to somehow like mess up his contain. But it looks like Y is absolutely gearing up for some sort of a drop. We'll see where he's going to take that drop. Again, though, Magic Bullet's starting to get quite a few bases. I mean, if he clears out this mine, then he has almost half the map and similar base count here to Mr. Y, who needs to rebuild that. Hasn't cleared out these vultures yet. He's focused on this drop right now. It looks like he's going to go for the main. Oh, what an unfortunate time for Magic Bullet to be loading up. But he does have at least one of these dropships loaded. Let's see, these tanks need to siege, though. And it's a bit slow to siege. All right, so Y has dropped some siege tanks over here, but Y is also not sieging. Oh my god, the tanks need to siege up. It's apparently we're just doing no siege drops, but several of these dropships for Y are going to go down here in the midst of this action. And it looks like as Y does this drop, okay, finally sieges his tanks, and he's going to come in here and try and clear out these vultures. But remember, top right and 6 o'clock base are still mining here for Magic Bullet. And that is certainly allowing Magic Bullet access to a lot more resources than he would have expected. And it looks like Magic Bullet has either remade or kept some of those rays alive. And they actually do have pretty good upgrades. So they will damage these siege tanks fairly fast. But a lot of depots have been lost in the process. And now, with just a few tanks here, Y is trying to push into the natural. And he is succeeding at the moment. Now, I don't think he's going to get this tank down unless he gets a very fortunate shot. And actually, I guess that's just enough. Can't quite clear those tanks enough. Losing his natural says GG. So that game will go to Y, although it got a lot closer than it probably ever should have. Got a lot closer than it probably should have. It's not L, it's I. Oh. Waste me, I am oh. Yes, okay, suddenly it makes a lot more sense now. Alright, that's going to lead us to Game 2 between these two players here on Autobahn. Alright, so spawning in the top left-hand corner as the red Terran, we have Y. And in the bottom right-hand corner as the blue Terran, we have Magic Bullet. Wait, waste melon? No, waste me, I am. But yeah, I was seeing like waste melom. I was like, what is melom? But yeah. Alright, so it was a pretty convincing win for Y in Game 1 overall. I mean, there were definitely some mistakes, but Y basically took a fantastic position that more or less he never relinquished. I mean, some harass, some drops set him back more than would have been ideal for him, but he certainly had the game by the throat. And we'll see if it was largely due, though, to the decision making from Magic Bullet. Now, here on Autobahn, we'll see if that changes. And of course, this is a map that Magic Bullet has picked. I believe my understanding of the league is that loser gets to pick the map. So Magic Bullet has chosen to plan this. So we'll see if he has a particularly prepared strategy in mind or something of that nature. Of course, no ramp here. So sitting back in the main will definitely have a little bit less defensive power without a doubt. And then we have our path through the center here with the double gases. You've got kind of a high ground pod here with a base. And then you've got a ramped base over here that's actually enterable from both sides. And then you have the ramp with a few eggs that are a little bit narrow. Gas base over here. Very much a two-player map. And okay, this is an interesting SCV scouting trajectory. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with this SCV. I really don't. Maybe just checking for proxies. Perhaps Magic Bullet has a reputation. I really don't know. Either that or he just doesn't know the map at all. Although that would be a very odd direction to go. Given that he's also circling back to the top, I feel like he must be looking for proxies. Unless he's being very indecisive about a proxy factory location of his own. Because of course we do see a gas. So it's definitely going to be a factory. Oh, okay, never mind. I was like, only one on gas, what? But now he's got two on gas, so that looking a little bit sharper, a little bit better here. And SCV coming on over here for Magic Bullet. He's going to see... Okay, looks like Y is just going to build the factory here. Y's SCV finally found the way over to Magic Bullet's base, I guess. Confident he scouted enough for proxies. And has enough to build the factory. He's made one Marine. The factory's getting quite a bit late now. Would have liked to have seen... Oh, whoa. He built quite a bit before that factory. I would definitely have liked to have seen that factory go down a bit faster. But at least he only built one Marine. That's good. I don't know what happened there. He, like... The SCV should have at least by default tried to run away, so he like held position it so it died like even faster than it should have. That was a bit odd. But he did see a factory going down, so that's good. And of course, Y is going to see the same thing as his SCV leaves and dies. And so, Magic Bullet has a hell of a lot of gas. But he has taken 2 off gas, so we're probably not going to see a 2-fact. Although he does actually have enough gas to where he could consider doing something crazy like a 2-fact. I don't think we're going to see it, but one never knows for sure. But now it would be getting a bit late to consider that. We actually got 400 minerals already here for Magic Bullet and 500 for Y. Y in position here to expand. And it looks like Y has floated his barracks off and is headed down, and same for Magic Bullet, so that is most excellent. And a Vulture for both players? No. Gonna go straight for the Siege Tank again. So Magic Bullet feeling much more comfortable with the early Siege Tanks, and I can understand why. It's the less common option in TVT nowadays, but you know, you can open that way. It does work. You don't get map control when you play that way against a Vulture player because there's just too many mines. So you kind of cede map control for what is generally, in most cases, a little more safety. Now, where are we going from here in terms of deviations? Obviously, we see an engineering bay. All right, so we got 2 facts for Y and an engineering bay here for Magic Bullet. I think that's a bit fast for an engineering bay. I don't really think it's useful. I mean, he might be wanting this to just, like, block off his natural against Vultures. Mines being researched. Command Center about to finish here for both players, actually. Should see a maynard of SCVs right about now. Again, though, SCV counts are pretty low. Could definitely be higher at this point. Let's see how he got his transfer. Alright, another good transfer. As a general rule of thumb, you just want to transfer away so that you have 1 per patch remaining in the main. That will optimize your mining the best. So if you only have, like, you know, if you expand really fast, you only have like 14 SCVs, you only want to transfer like 5 of them. Transferring any more is overkill. And an armory goes up here for Magic Bullet, so he's playing very anti-Wraith looking right now. Just preparing for that, but of course he's got his barracks coming in here now, so he's going to see exactly what Y is up to. And Y actually has his Marine out over here on the map, so absolutely nothing at the moment to deter this barracks. We'll see if the barracks prompts Goliath to be made just to get rid of it. And in comes Y. Oh, well, maybe not. Y's barracks says, I'm going to take a break. Time to take a break. Just chill here for a moment. And again, Magic Bullet, unfortunately, he's playing his TVT. So this is something you don't want to do in TVT. He's got what more or less amounts to a wall and a tank at a wall. So two problems with this. Number one, it puts you back in a defensive position, and TVT map control is important. And number two, big walls like this, if your opponent brings down siege tanks and just sieges up here, you just lose everything at the wall. So walls aren't particularly powerful. You know, if you need to emergency block, you know, like putting an eBay there temporarily, or like an eBay here and then putting a unit or two here to wall off against the threat of heavy vulture, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But building just a straight wall structure is usually not a good TVT decision. So Y is going to get a pretty fast upgrade. He's going to grab that starport. Looks like actually both players are upgrading. And Magic Bullet, if he stays on top of his upgrades, will have the ability to have +2 just a little bit faster than Y. He'll have a small window to maybe do some aggression with those +2 tanks. And definitely sticking with heavy tank production, whereas Y sticking with quite a few more vultures. He's got a few tanks out, but we can see vulture production kicking into full swing here. And the comsats being added for both players. Actually, no, I lied. There's not even an academy here for Magic Bullet, so no comsats for Magic Bullet, but there is a command center. So looking to float that out. Marine in a pretty good position here to spot for this base, and Y is also taking his third command center. Now this time Y has not opted to come across the map and go for the contain. We'll see if that changes. He's got, basically, Magic Bullet is sitting back for free saying, hey, please come contain me. And yeah, you're right, Magic Bullet has basically no map vision, no vultures, no scans. Just has a barracks. I mean, he did see what Y was making, but he's playing very in the dark, whereas Y has a pretty good idea of what's out here. He knows there's basically nothing out on the map. He's got these mines. His barracks gone. Oh, what do we have over here? Well. We got a little bit of cuteness going on. Oh my god. Oh my god, is he gonna see it? Hey, I'm oh man, this is a hard name to say. I'm Jiraiya. Thank you for the host, my friend. I appreciate it. Alright, so the 4 Marine surprise attack, this would be much cooler if it was Firebats, but actually we are getting a few SCV kills. I think we're at about 4 now. Unfortunately, they suddenly decided to make the decision to fight a tank rather than target fire SCVs. But hey, I guess if 4 Marines walk in and kill 4 SCVs, that's a pretty good investment. And Jake Pliskin, thanks for the host as well, my friend. Appreciate it. If you guys just tuned in here, just got sent over here, just watching, this is CPL Team League. We are watching Week 8 right now. We are at our first Tier 3 match. So DE level play, doing a little bit of replay analysis, a little bit of replay commentary of these games, talking about things that players can do better, and just kind of commentating the game in general. So, alright, Magic Bullet this time has made the decision to get out on the map, which is, oh, well, I was going to say it was good, but then he is going to maybe crawl back to his, okay, he needs to bring these tanks. These tanks are doing absolutely nothing. Not part of any sort of a line. He has cleared off this vulture, and let's see where he sieges these tanks. Sieging them up here would actually be a very nice spot. That almost forms like an arc with them sieged up here, and it looks like we have the first Wraith out from Magic Bullet, which will hopefully incite some Goliath. Whoa, 3 shops? We don't have a 3rd gas yet, so he cannot afford to make tanks out 3 shops. But hopefully we'll get a Goliath out here soon. Right now the Wraith just picking off the spotter eBay. And he is continuing to produce a few more Wraiths. Does he have any other Wraiths out on the map? Just looks like that one for the moment. Now, are we going to have Goliaths? Yeah, okay, so he did cancel some tanks, did get some Goliaths started, so he shouldn't really lose anything. 1 Wraith takes a hell of a long time to kill a tank. He can honestly just bring some SCVs and repair. No transfer to this base yet, and, like, actually, Magic Bullet could have a few more, but Magic Bullet's SCV production is not terrible. Wise, though, unfortunately, is still very, very bad. He does have 3, well, he's got 3 bases, so he ends up with a similar number, but he just doesn't have enough SCVs at any of his bases. That's probably the biggest thing I can see, too, from Wise games, from a mechanics and macro standpoint. Y just needs to make a lot more SCVs. Really, really major SCV deficiency. And Rene, thank you, sir, for following. I appreciate it. Welcome to my stream, if it is your first time here. I'm sure many of you have watched casts in the past, but if it is your first time, welcome. If it's not, well, still welcome. Alright, so we're starting to make a few SCVs here for Mr. Magic Bullet. We got reinforcements coming out here, but if you look at the position on the map, we can see right away it's very good for Y. He's got a third base up faster, and he's got a third command center. And Magic Bullet is just sitting way too far back in his natural, playing this way too defensively. And it's really going to cost him because Y is just having the most casual, comfortable game in the world. We're going to have this Vulture sneak in over here. Of course, there's only about 3 or 4 SCVs, so might force a lift on the command center because, actually, oh, if Y's tank line was only a little bit further, it would completely cut this off, and it would actually force a lift. In this case, he can just bring up a few tanks and clear out these Vultures. Now, let's see, he's moving forward here. Needs to be very careful, though. And there's a Wraith here to be annoying, but there are some Goliaths back, and yes, it is going to annoyingly force a lift. And that's more time with Y on 3 gases, although he's only mining that third gas with 1 SCV. Loses the Wraith pretty quickly. Goliath's coming forward here, moving them back into a safe spot, going to get rid of that spotter barracks. And no, he did not go into the +2 because there is no science facility. There is, however, a science facility for Y, but Y has not started the +2 upgrade yet. So in the race for +2, it remains to be seen. Alright, Goliaths are moving a little too far forward. Oh no! Oh no! We're running into the tank line here. And yeah, Y has pretty good position here. He's got Vultures over here, he's got mines. He knows that Magic Bullet can't set up any sort of a vertical tank line. He knows that there's nothing, well, he doesn't actually know there's nothing over here, but he's got tanks far enough forward that Magic Bullet can't sneak units over here, so he's got a pretty darn good setup here. Magic Bullet is trying to come forward, and he will get this tank, which is going to wander on to its death, but we can see these supplies starting to really favor Y at this point. There's actually a hell of a lot of tanks out here for Magic Bullet, who's been producing basically just pure 4-shop. Okay, you can't actually afford 4-shop tanks, but if we are missing production, you can have 4 shops. So it's just a massive number of tanks here for Magic Bullet and nothing else. Possibly even enough tanks that he could break up this line, but he needs to do something here. He's sending a few Goliaths, but they might just walk into the mines and die, and that's a lot of Vultures. Like, a group of Vultures can take a Goliath or 2. So this Goliath is going to go down, and realistically, Magic Bullet, I mean, he's got access to this ramp. He just needs to send, like, 2 or 3 tanks over here and clear this out, but he's been letting these Vultures deny this command center for a very, very, very long time, and that's really causing him to slip further and further behind Y. Y has a much better factory count, 4 against 6. Y should really have about 9 factories at this point, especially with a 4th base coming up. But again, he is a little deficient in SCVs, so that might explain some of why he doesn't want to put down all of those factories that he could put down. And unfortunately, this is just putting Magic Bullet further and further behind. Alright, well, Magic Bullet's going to unsiege here. Out of control group. Where's he going with this? Where's he going with this? Oh, no, he's just going to siege back up. It's just a tease. And apparently, Magic Bullet's just going to switch back into Vultures. He's adding a science facility, which I like. He's adding a command center. Did we get the +2? Okay, so massively faster +2 coming up here. For Y, so that's going to give his tanks a huge advantage. It's going to make this contain almost unbreakable when it takes just 2 shots to kill, especially when you have to siege up and then take 3 shots to kill your opponent's tanks. Oof, and the fact that this command center is not landed, it's just, there's not really much else to say here for Magic Bullet. I mean, given what Y had to work with, I can't criticize too much about Y's play from a strategical standpoint, but of course, you know, it's a simple game when your opponent just sits back and lets you do this, but Y did exactly what he should have done. The only downsides for Y here is just SCV production obviously needs to be a hell of a lot better, and needs to get more factories down sooner. I mean, 6 facts for a long time on 3 bases just doesn't cut it, but I mean, you know, he's expanding a lot now. He could do this sooner. Once you have a solid contain like this, you definitely don't have to take this long to expand to bases, but, you know, these are all relatively minor points. The big thing is the SCV production. And the big issue here for Magic Bullet, you know, there's obviously the usual macro issues. Just needs more consistent SCVs, needs a few more factories, not 4 shops. But the big thing from a strategy standpoint is you just can't sit back and TVT. I mean, this is like he's got a big ass army, but literally it won't go anywhere against this, especially once this +2 finishes here. And he still hasn't cleared out. He's just ignoring, like, this is killing me. He doesn't need to have all these tanks here. He just needs to send, like, 4 tanks and some Vultures over here and just clear out. So, he was like, I don't know if he's just afraid and didn't want to move his tank line and just made all these vultures so he could clear these vultures. But no, he's going for it now. And he was able to go in before +2 goes. This is not the best kind of attack, and he didn't bring in all of his tanks. Now the D-Matrixes at the front are kind of cute, but look at the concave that Y has set up here. It's just really powerful. A few Wraiths are coming forward. I guess they're Spotter Wraiths. The Goliath's also moving forward, but they are getting shot by the tanks. So, yes, Magic Bullet moves forward, but he only gains about an inch, and he trades very, very inefficiently to do so, although Y is basically bleeding in all of his non-siege tank units. Oh, Science Vessel's going to go down. Alright, Goliath range takes care of the Science Vessel, and now it's +2 time. And still hasn't done anything about these Vultures. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious at this point that this is going to be Y's game. There's not really a whole lot here that Magic Bullet can do. He doesn't have any hidden expos of any sort. He tries to build these command centers, but they just come way too late, and Y is doing a good job on top of this. And okay, finally, Magic Bullet decides to come over here, decides he should clear out these Vultures. He's absolutely right, but this really, really should have been done 5 minutes ago. He will finally be able to land his third, but that's not really going to gain him too much. We'll see how Y handles this, but I really don't think there are too many good options here for Magic Bullet at this point in time. A few reinforcements coming on down here. And let's see, Y is taking the gases at the other bases. Now he is going to allow Magic Bullet to go ahead and grab this base, but again, +2 against not any +1. He's working towards his +2 here. He's trying to move forward. He's got these tanks on siege like he wants to try again, but it's a much better concave. There's even a dropship out now, which is very frightening. And against those +2 tanks, you just can't move forward. He tries to move forward. Most of his tanks are just dying. We do have a small drop here into the main by Y as he tries to harass a little bit. I don't even think you can call this anything more than harass. And it looks like he might actually kill a factory. There's no response at all from Magic Bullet. He's just, okay, now he's going to send some tanks back, but he's only got 3 tanks at the front. So, obviously, this is enough that, yeah, Y's going to move forward on this. He's moving forward a little bit uncoordinated. Siege is up, though, but he's got the advantage of that +2 that is not kicked in yet for Magic Bullet. Looks like he won't quite break the position, but the harass is continuing here. A factory has actually died to this, and the third base now getting shut down. And, of course, the 4th attempt never got mining here for Magic Bullet. And we should be seeing GG here shortly. There's not really anything left, and there we go. Y will take that second game. So yeah, Magic Bullet just needs to change the first part of his TVT, and his games will go way, way better. Just needs to not sit back quite so far. And so now we're going to be moving into our next set of Tier 3 games, and it is going to be Bad Penny versus Snail. And I can't say I know too much about either of these guys. Oh, Bad Penny is another player we saw the other day, and he looked okay for his tier. So we'll see how Snail looks. In the top right-hand corner, as the yellow Protoss, we have Bad Penny. And then bottom left-hand corner, as the purple Protoss, we have Snail. Jake Pliskin saying Bad Penny versus Snail. What do you know about this matchup? Do you have something you want to contribute? Using kind of a shocked face. So I'm curious if there's something I don't know. Oh. Well, Bad Penny. Bad Penny is... he's being a Bad Penny. Bringing a cheddar. Jake Pliskin saying Snail is really good for Tier 3. He'll probably graduate to Tier 2 next season. And Magic doesn't have a plan what to do when no one attacks him in front. Yeah, you're right. That actually does look like the kind of gameplay you might see from someone who spent a long time playing against the computer. Just really defensive and assumes you'll attack into him. Alright, so, oh my gosh. Not a center location. A little bit of a suspicious proxy here. Not really, but kind of. So it's an odd spot. It's a very risky spot because there's a chance your opponent's over here, in which case you're really fucking yourself. But he's gotten a beautiful draw as far as proxy locations. So luck is certainly on Bad Penny's side. So we'll see what he can do against this strong Tier 3 player in Snail. And if Snail is fairly strong for Tier 3, that might indeed explain Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Bad Penny basically just lost. 2 gates, regular, should defend 9-9 quite easily. And that becomes especially true if Snail is as strong as he is rumored to be. So either Snail likes to 2-gate or his senses are tingling. He scouted through the center too. His senses are tingling big time. Does Bad Penny have a reputation for being really cheesy? Because Snail is obviously very suspiciously here looking for scouting, and Bad Penny is you know, obviously up to no good. But this should go just fine for Snail. He'll with travel time, he'll have more than enough zealots, and he'll have a superior economy. Looks like for the moment, Bad Penny holding economy, that's pretty normal. Bad Penny's heart is now going to sink. He's going to be like, oh, god damn it. Why? Did Bad Penny just make a pylon? Okay. There's no forge. I don't know if he's intending to make a battery or what. I mean, you can make a battery, but he's probably going to lose the probe. Alright, so first zealot comes in, and second zealot comes out here. So we got 2 on 1, but we do have 2 more coming. And Snail has actually had a pretty big... This is a pretty big botch from Snail. This is a colossal mistake from Snail here. I can't believe this. He completely is forgetting to make zealots. If he messes up micro here, Bad Penny can win this outright right now. This is unbelievable. I don't know where Snail's attention is. He obviously just freaked out, and this is Bad Penny's game. It's over. Nothing in the gateways. Nothing at all in the gateways. Just now start zealots. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. Snail, if you see this game, man, literally, there are 2 things you have to do when you're getting proxied. You just have to make zealots all the time. Those gateways, queue a little bit if you have to, but the zealots just have to keep making. And of course, you have to keep making probes too, and you have to keep your probes alive. Like that's proxy defense here. We got 4 zealots. We're actually getting some pretty good surround with the probes. They actually will kill one of these zealots off fairly easy. But really, Snail's not even able to mine. He doesn't really have the eco here. We're getting pretty good fights. Literally every probe is pulled right now. Oh, this zealot is actually getting pretty badly derped, but this one's going to get cleaned up here. Probes are doing a lot of work, though. But now we enter another period here. Actually, Snail's going to get out a few zealots. Maybe somehow Snail is actually going to hold this. He's built a forge. Now, has Bad Penny ecoed up at all? Okay, well, despite Snail's initial mistakes... like, Bad Penny was microing down here. He didn't use his battery. It was pretty questionable micro from Bad Penny. Definitely hurting himself with the micro. And now he's getting owned pretty badly here. And actually, so yeah, this is some serious throws. Snail had the easiest defense in the world. Almost lost because of it. He's still economically in a mediocre spot. Is he building a cannon behind the ramp? Okay, so this is really... I don't like this for a variety of reasons. It doesn't cover the gateways. It does protect your probes, yeah, but it doesn't cover the gateways. If he switches into Dragoons or something like that, then your gateways get ranged down. And now Bad Penny's being a little bit over-persistent with his proxy. He doesn't need to actually keep sending zealots in to just die, especially in trading inefficiently. And Snail's got his ramp secured. Now, Snail is on, what, 12 probes? What does Bad Penny have? Yeah, I mean, Bad Penny is ahead in tech and eco. I mean, this is a good spot for Bad Penny, particularly if Snail doesn't come over here and kill these gateways. And if Bad Penny doesn't just stop sending zealots here. But yeah, so 2 big throws from both players. Snail by not making anything as gateways for just a massive period of time. And Bad Penny for not using his battery, not for just fighting in the mineral line. He didn't do anything with his zealots. He just kind of A-moved them and took really, really poor fights. Absolutely no way Snail should have been able to live that, and a mistake that he was able to do so. Why would you watch this? Because it's CPL and you're a player in CPL, and or you are, you know, C, D, E, F rank and looking to learn a bunch of useful information about things, about how to play the game, because that's the whole point of this. Like, yeah, if you're an A rank player, unless you have a vested interest in CPL, a lot of these games might not be super interesting, although you do get some pretty funny games. You do get some funny moments. But this is definitely geared towards people that are interested in improving. And yeah, this is really overly persistent here. I mean, yeah, the Dragoon's adding some DPS, but the Zealots are nicely arced to the top of the ramp. The Dragoon is a bit concerning, though, for Snail. If there were a few more a little bit faster, it would have been very concerning. However, there are not. Okay, the Forge and the Cannon is really bad from Bad Penny. When you're in this kind of position, like, if he's got DTs, like, you're going to be fucked anyway. Like, there's just no value to building a cannon in the main. And also you bid in his base. There should be just a general feel that he can't have DTs out that quickly. Alright, so we got the Forge, we got our core, we're making a few Dragoons, and we're going to have a big attack here coming across the map from Snail. And this could open us up to a counter here, so this game might get weird again. This game might be about to go weird again. Zealots coming on across here. Now, there's a cannon. It is in the minerals, kind of. It's not super drillable, but he can drill on it a little bit. He's going to lose a lot. Now, let's see what he does with his army. I would say probably the best attempt is a counter, but this is a really powerful position here for a Snail, as you can imagine, and the cannon dies immediately. So Bad Penny is completely fucked on his eco here. Everything is going to die of these Zealots, and this is basically just a lack of scouting, and it looks like Bad Penny is going to go for the counter. He might try to run the probes. I guess he's going to try to fight with them, but they're basically all going to die. But there are a lot of Dragoons out here for Snail. He should kite back here from the ramp. He should try to abuse the mineral, abuse the cannon in there, and keep what he has for Dragoons alive. This cannon will not finish, and now we do have a little bit of kiting, so he's picking off Zealots. We do have a probe pull here, but those Zealots are going to add a lot of beef to this. And let's see how this counter goes. Obviously, Bad Penny is finished off here, but can Snail... yeah, Bad Penny is finished off, but can Bad Penny finish off Snail? Alright, so he needs to get the Zealots to actually attack the probes. He's trying to move the Dragoons away. He's a long way from getting more Dragoons, and most of the probes are... Oh, the Zealots are on hold position. Oh, God. Oh, God, the Zealots could have just been murdering those poor probes, but instead they're on hold position, but the eco is getting pretty damaged. Unfortunately, the Dragoons are not distributed correctly in the gateways. That's maybe not a big deal if you're playing a 20-minute PvT and you've got 20 gates, but when you only have 2 gates, it's a really big deal. There's still 4 Dragoons alive against 1, although the probes are still alive, and he's not getting the cannon here. Probes are contributing quite a bit of DPS to this Dragoon, and the cannon's still alive. Is the cannon going to be enough to hold the day? It's looking iffy, but 2 Zealots trying to get on top of that cannon. They are on top of it. It's 1 Dragoon against 1 Dragoon. Ah, it's not attacking, though, and the cannon is still alive. I think Bad Penny certainly had the opportunity here to kill this, and then actually probably Bad Penny would have won because he could have cutted the Zealots to infinity, but it's over now. It's over. That's over. Absolutely impossible for Bad Penny to win. We should see a GG at some point here. I can't believe GG hasn't been set up. Oh, he's made a DT. Okay, well, maybe if the DT kills the cannon, holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was actually 1 shot away. That would have been a really crazy game if that DT would have. That was I gotta like tip the cap to Bad Penny for like making that DT and trying it, because man, if that DT would have got that cannon, then we would have had a really interesting game. I think Snail probably could have still won, but it would have been like it would have all come down to like either some attempt to stabilize, but he probably wouldn't have been able to stabilize in his base. So it would have been a crazy attempt of trying to kill these gateways in this pylon before the DT could do anything. Not even what if he made 2 DTs. I think he could have done. I think he could have taken a much better path with that DT and certainly gotten the cannon. But I do like that. That was a really on his feet, good strategical decision. Now, you know, better micro, and Bad Penny definitely could have done some stuff. Although Snail could have reacted better and microed better in that situation as well. But the big thing was just letting those Zealots come across the map. All right, so in the bottom right-hand corner, as our orange Protoss, we have Bad Penny. And in the top left-hand corner, as our red Protoss, we have Snail 6. All right, so we'll see how things change, we don't see so far. I say so far. Super fast probe. Alright, so it looks like perhaps maybe a bit of a more standard game here on Circuit Breaker from Snail. Getting that pylon up. Or from Bad Penny. Rather, Snail played kind of standard last game. He did drop 2 gates. But unless he was hacking, which I don't think for a second he was, he went for 2 gate, which is a little unorthodox. Not rare, but certainly not standard PvP. And gateway. Not that we'd expect anything else. I would kind of freak out if he just had built a forge or something like that. Alright, so we got probes coming out, both scouting through the center. So we're going to have a little probe kiss probably. They didn't actually attack each other though. Both of them on move command. And gas has started for both players here. Alright, let's see, almost exactly identical gas timings. Nobody being put on gas yet though, so a little bit slow. 1 probe. We got 1 probe, we got 2 probe, we got 3 probe. Still just 1 probe on gas here for Bad Penny. This better be some sort of weird Nexus build coming up soon or something. And of course, Snail is seeing this. He's like, why is there only 1 guy mining gas? Well, this is going to be a little bit awkward. I think this is a mistake. You know. 1 never knows for sure. Okay, 2, 3. Zealot at the ramp, going to chase that probe away. Actually, pretty damn hard. This is one of the few ramps that's really hard to block with just a Zealot. So range is going to be very delayed here from Bad Penny. But of course, Snail has gone very much for harass-oriented play. So he's delayed his core quite a bit and is looking to really pressure with these Zealots. Dragoon on the way. Now we'll see if he goes for second Dragoon or range first. He does go... No, wait, what? Citadel. Well, this is going to be pretty nice then for... Well, no, maybe not. I said I figured Snail was going to come in here and still harass. And then, of course, that would allow him to see that a Citadel was being made. But he doesn't. He's getting a second gateway, but he's getting a robo. So... Likely DT shouldn't be a game ender here in this situation. Unless, of course, he feels greedy and decides to go immediately for, you know what? Reavers. Reavers. Still no range, but I guess if you're going for a DT build, you're not actually going to get range anyway, so. Coming on down here, grabbing a pylon. Alright, so this probe is found and killed off. Alright, where's the archives? Where's the archives? Alright, so Temple Archive starts. And again, we have this pylon at the natural, so you can build cannons here in a bit. Master CPL casting. You got it, man. You got it. Just like yesterday. Just like yesterday. Alright, so he's going to go obs first. So most of the danger now is averted. The only other way he could mess up here is if he sends the ob cross map, but given the natural scouting path, and he's going to the right base, the ob should head right there, but as long as he doesn't miss the DTs. So if Bad Penny sends him on a weird path, or Snail's just a bit inattentive and he misses the DTs as he sends his obs, that could be a problem. Or if he parks his whole army here, and Bad Penny runs by with a DT without attacking the army and alerting Snail to its presence. So the cannon's going to go up. We'll see if Snail comes in here and tries to deny the cannon. He'll probably just back up, but It does have enough to pressure here, especially with the extra zealot advantage and presumably range advantage. Oh man, I don't know what this Dragoon is doing, but it's not behaving very well. Unfortunately, Bad Penny's taking a hell of a lot of zealot hits, so this fight should still go to Snail. Whoa, Bad Penny is like on super chase mode. So the cannon is going to get denied. Now, will the DTs be... Okay, the DTs are going to attack. So he reveals his hand. So this should result in Bad Penny parking his observer and his Dragoon somewhere near the vicinity of the ramp. But at the same time, we're going to have a little bit of harass. There's going to be a small probe pull. The DT will clean this up in fairly short order. Shouldn't get all that many kills, but it looks like 3 or 4, so a bit of economic damage here. I mean, we can see that Bad Penny does have a small supply lead. But we have an Obs coming out, and we have 2 more Dragoons about to... Where is Dragoons? God, okay, so it looks like some... Yeah, we can see from the minerals some really rough macro for Snail here. And he's definitely going to need to micro this Dragoon carefully again. Well, maybe not. But, you know, a Dragoon will certainly beat a DT in a straight-up fight without micro. And he's got a little while to wait before reinforcements. Let's see if he can drill those probes. Yeah, okay, we're going for a bit of a drill. So he's softening up that DT. Dragoon going to need to micro once or twice more, but it looks like he's going to clean the DT. Oh, no, okay. Oh, just low enough on health. The probe is actually able to go. Super Ninja Assassin slays the DT. Slays the DT. You're right. There is some ice cream that is being consumed at the moment. All right, so we're getting up triple cannons and a Nexus coming on down. Hopefully at some point. Unfortunately, Bad Penny was overly focused a little bit on the DT micro, made a few too many cannons, and still doesn't have a Nexus. So economically, it's like DT Expand is supposed to give you a pretty good economic position, but now he doesn't really have that. A statue of the probe immortalized. If Snail wins the game, he's going to get like a cast iron statue of a probe made, put it on his mantle. Never thought you'd see it, but now you have. So now you know. Probes can be assassins. Actually, you see it fairly often, just not... I hate this. No need for a cannon. No need for a cannon. Just leave an Obs at home. He does pick off another DT-headed cross map. But usually you see like probes be assassins when they're all just drilling the living daylights out of a DT in the mineral line. But that was more just like the probe was like out by itself and it just went up and tapped the DT and it was like, die, bitch. Get the fuck out my house. Alright, so the Templar are coming and the Storm is coming. So overall, you know, the build execution isn't too terrible for Bad Penny. It's just a bit unfortunate that he didn't get his Nexus down on time, decided to make 3 cannons. Oh, and wow, okay. So Snail's response here is to sneak a Nexus. We'll see if he cannons it up. I'm not usually the biggest fan of immediately canning a hidden base. I feel like if you're going to take a hidden base, let it be a hidden base. Let it be a hidden base. If you invest a bunch in cannons, like you might keep it alive, but it's also really going to slow down your development, and it opens you up to other sort of attacks. So I would say just take the hidden base, don't cannon it, let it be hidden. If he finds it, it's just the price you pay for taking a hidden base. Because if you cannon it up heavily, you pay other prices for that. Now, if your hidden base is kicked in, you've got good eco, you know, and you're feeling like that base is fully paid for itself, yeah, then go ahead and make a few cannons. But when the first thing you do is immediately cannon up a hidden base, I'm not a huge fan most of the time. Ob's out looking for hidden bases of Bad Penny and not finding any. Alright, we're getting what? Some Dragoons, we got 4 gates, we got a Citadel, we got an Archives. Gonna be a pretty decent mid-game timing here for Bad Penny. It'll be a little bit scary. It'll be a little bit scary. And what do we have here? Gateway. So he's going to get it. I don't like adding gateways either. I mean, you can do it if you like it, but I like to have my army in one spot and just move it around. I find it harder to macro out of gateways that are spaced out at 2 different bases. So the danger here for Snail is he's on 3 gates. He has teched pretty hard. Oh, he's actually teched really hard. Oh man, if Bad Penny would have put his Nexus up on time and just gone for 6 or 7 gates with low tech, he would have just rolled Snail. Like, this is very, very greedy from Snail. I mean, not only is the Nexus greedy, but to do a Nexus on 3 gates, throwing down like a cannon here that's not helpful, that's costing you money, getting the fast upgrade. Like, this is just, it's really, really greedy. And I mean, Bad Penny has enough right now to be scary, particularly if speed is about to kick in. He's on a lot of gates, and we'll see. Now he's fighting, I hate to say it, but he's fighting a bit of a stupid fight here. He needs to come over from the top here and out this way, and get everything together, but he has enough of an army to be scary, particularly if he hits a good storm or 2. So we'll see if Bad Penny here can change things. But, you know, 4 gates are kicking in now. There are a few Templar. Oh, this is not actually the best time for Templar to kick out. They probably won't have enough energy to storm. Oh, that was a terrible storm, unfortunately. A lot of gates needs to rally. Those gates should just make Zealots. When you go to attack in PvP, same as when you attack in PvZ and to a lesser extent PvT, you always want to make Zealots in your gateways. He's got more storms. Use the storm! Oh my god! Oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, that's not the worst place, but he should actually try to hit the Dragoons rather than whatever. If you storm behind the Dragoons, it does force you to run into your own Dragoons. He just needs to make a DT, though, actually, in all honesty. I don't think there's an obs with this army. So a DT will certainly end this attack. Oh, Snail! These points where you just don't make anything! Ah! Alright, but unfortunately Bad Penny's, like, not rallying his reinforcements. Bad Penny 100% should win this game right now. Like, there's no reason. He 100% had a chance to win there. All he had to do was A move and rally reinforcements. He wins that every time, unless Snail remembers he can make a DT, but he didn't. And he had huge idle gateways. Just everything about that game should have been a dominating win for Bad Penny, but he got indecisive. He didn't reinforce his army, and now he's very, very far behind. There will be a brief window where Snail still has a slightly less scary army, but with all this eco starting to kick in here at the 3rd base, way, way faster. I mean, he got his tech out fast. He's going to have really fast upgrades. Actually, they both kind of have fast upgrades. But still, just going to be a big army coming out here from Snail in relatively short order as even more gateways kick in. He's going a little bit crazy on the cannons. Needs to chill on the cannons for sure. Making an assload of cannons is just not something you ever really need to do, particularly, again, when you are in a position like this. Like, you just don't need 6 cannons at hidden base, especially not cannons that aren't even defending the ramp. Like, if you're going to make the cannons, make a pylon wall and just cannon up behind the pylon wall. Really revisit your cannon making, Snail, if you see this game. Revisit your cannon making. It's not fully thought out. And there's just no need for that many cannons. Oh, 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 suicide mission! Bye-bye. Those awkward rally point moments. Alright, so Snail's getting an army at both bases. Supplies are closing, and will continue to close. Neither player has started their 2nd upgrade. Snail, don't fight here. Don't fight here. Okay, this is better. Alright, now you can fight. Alright, so Bad Penny is going for it here with his army. Now remember, Snail army looks fragile here. It looks like Bad Penny is really scary, but half of Bad Penny's stuff or more is over at this base, and there's a DT in here. So this attack's going to be scary. It's going to do some damage, but Bad Penny is either going to lose everything here to this DT and the reinforcements and be forced to retreat, or he's going to have to retreat, and then Snail's just going to have a blatantly bigger army with more gateways and should more or less roll over him. So yeah, this DT doing work here, picking everything off. All the Templar going down. Bad Penny's army evaporated. And now Bad Penny is working off of 5 gateways only? Ugh. Against... that is 5 alone, plus another 5. So 10 gateways. So 10 gateways versus 5. Double the reinforcements. Lost his whole army. Didn't macro that hard. Also, Bad Penny, please rally your gateways to your natural. Please. Please. Just watch my re-rally tutorial and... re-rally those gateways to the natural. you will appreciate it. I will appreciate it. Everything will flow much better for you. Just use those F keys. Quick little re-rally set. I'll maybe even talk about that here. Yeah, I think I can actually use my F keys in the middle of this. Yeah, I can. Okay. So, how do you re-rally gates? If you guys don't know the quick way to do this, come over here to your gateways, hold shift, and then press F2 at the same time. Then click wherever you want to rally them to, hold shift and press F3. And then you just hit F2, goes to your gateways, click a gateway, hit F3, that's the rally, right click for setting rally, and then go F2, click another gateway, F3, right click, F2, back to your gateways, bam, and then when you do it fast, it looks like this. Bam, gateways re-rallied, that's all it takes. Easy, simple, effective. Then you don't have all your units stupidly sitting back in your base like this, not contributing to the fight like they should be. I don't think it's really going to matter, especially if Snail can reinforce this. Also, we can see Bad Penny just doesn't have enough gateways, not enough macro here. So you combine the fact that he's behind with the fact that he hasn't been macroing, and you're going to see the result you see right here as Snail finishes him off and is going to be taking the 2-0 here over Bad Penny. There's even a DT in there. Oh, there's actually an OBS, but more zealots being rallied in. Snail is doing a good job re-rallying those attacks, and Bad Penny here is slowly going to fall apart. He might live for a little bit while he is bringing some of those units down from the main, but the reinforcements from Snail, especially if he can get reinforcements rolling nicely from each base, will eventually clean up everything that remains here. I think the Dragoons, he's making mostly Dragoons. They're going to hold on for a little while here at the ramp. But if he gets a few more Zealots, a few more Dragoons, and just runs up this ramp, there's even a slight possibility that Bad Penny will stabilize briefly. And then Snail will have to regroup with like 2 control groups and make another attack. Oh, we got a Templar here. Uh-oh. Well, that was a mistake by Bad Penny trying to come down this ramp this hard. Actually gave up his massive ramp advantage. And now it looks like Snail should be able to break him. Bad Penny had a pretty big pause in his gateway production. Snail seems to be reinforcing pretty good. Puts down a Storm on a single Dragoon. There we go. Hitting 2 more Dragoons with this Storm. And production is kind of only minimal. A few more reinforcements here. We got more streaming down. And he's getting broken. He's getting broken. Should be GG coming up at any point. And there it is. GG. Snail's going to take that one 2-0. And that will do it for our Tier 3 games today. So let's see, what do we have next? I think we have Tier 2 games. Yeah, we're going to have Wrench versus Red Quad. Game 1 is going to be on Fighting Spirit. Wrench, I don't know what race Wrench is. Quad is a Zerg player. If I am remembering correctly, he is Quadrox, and he actually recently did a pretty interesting little stream talking about what it's like to be a player very new to Brood War here in 2018, 2019. So, without further ado, I guess let's get into it. Game number 1 coming up here between Red Quad and Wrench. So in the top right-hand corner of the map, as the Blue Zerg, we have, or apparently in this case, it's BRU Quad. And in the left-hand side, as the Purple Protoss, we have Wrench 420. And I think it's safe to say this guy probably likes pot. So Quadrox, I believe, has hit D recently, which I guess would make sense. Somebody in CPL needs to shout out to me what the tiers actually are, like what the actual MMR cutoffs were for each tier. But yeah. But I believe Quadrox is around B, and Wrench I know nothing about. And hello, Mr. Dayspy. How you doing? Okay, so Tier 3 is 1350. So basically, Tier 3 is basically E and F. Tier 2... Oh, Tier 2 is big. I didn't realize Tier 1 was like was like B. Tier 1 is like, yeah, high, really high C or B. Okay. I didn't realize CPL took players up to that level. I thought like B players were rare in CPL. But I guess not. Alright, so the forge is being made. And it looks like Wrench knows his walls, just judging from how he's built this forge. Hopefully we'll see the gateway right there. Nope. Oh, never mind. He's overpulled. Okay. I was going to say, drone looks here like it's here a bit early, but he is overpulling, so this makes more sense. Yeah, I feel like Tier 2 is maybe a bit big, because the difference between 1650 and 1350 is pretty big. I'm actually going to play in the next CPL for sure. Try to hone my Zerg up a bit. Alright, so our next test here for Wrench is how well can he keep a probe alive? Yeah, Days, from what I know of you, you should easily be Tier 1. You should be like high B or low A or something. Oh, snap. Something tabbed. Something tabbed. I don't know what it did to the stream, but something tabbed. Alright, so we're getting a gateway up. Got a Nexus. Okay, so yeah, I did not realize Tier 2 went up that high. I thought Tier 2 was like basically like D or maybe some like low C guys. And then Tier 3 or Tier 1 was like mostly C guys and maybe some people that had practiced and made super jumps like Tim. They placed an 1850 player in Tier 2. Yeah, that one would be a little bit off. That one would be a little bit strong for Tier 2. I would definitely be Tier 1 with Protoss. I don't know what tier I would be with Zerg, though. It'd be really close. It'd be really close. My ZVP is obviously Tier 1, but I don't know about my ZVT and my ZV. I feel like my ZVT is probably like high, very, very high Tier 2. And my ZVZ is probably the same, but I don't know for sure. Alright, so we got Cybernetics Core. Got our wall, we're getting +1. So, thinking speed lots right now. Thinking speed lots. Could be +1 Sarah speed lot, could be just +1 speed lots, but +1 being prioritized before everything else. Stargate timing, if it is going to be a Stargate, we can see the Stargate's going to be a little bit delayed, but it's not. It's going to be a Citadel, so we are dedicated. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, okay. We're gonna do the all-in. We're gonna do the all-in here. Now, did Protoss? I should have paid more attention to his probe. I don't know if he saw it. We'll see what he builds at the front. That'll tell us if he saw it. I think he knows enough that. I think he knows enough that he can, you know, add cannons if he has scouted it. So I dislike, from Protoss, I will admit I dislike the fact that there's not a probe out on the map. It is so important. Protoss is, if you're playing PvZ, it's so important. I can't even stress enough. You got to get probes out on the map and know what's happening. If you don't, you can get in so much trouble. So how do you do that? It's a good question. Well, the first thing that's happened is when your first probe is getting close to the Zerg's base and you find them, like right about when their lings are hatching, you should send another probe out on the map at about that time. Just let it sit somewhere out there so it can be out and come in from an unexpected direction. That's step one. And then step two is obviously keep your probe alive as long as you can. And then step three is, well, what do I do if I can't get in or Zerg made speed really fast and I can't scout at all? Then the answer is, well, you can either gamble with no cannons or your one cannon, you know, or you can blindly make a couple cannons at the front in anticipation of the potential of a Hydra bust. Now, usually when Zergs make really fast... Oh, well, here we go. So this is probably going to be GG here for Wrench, because he obviously hasn't scouted it, as we talked about. So this is going to be just a classic scouting loss if Red Quad has decent micro, and so far it looks pretty good. Now there are a lot of speed lots. If his speed kicks in really, really soon here, he might have hit good enough timings that he will be able to get rid of these Hydra, but he really needs to keep these Zealots alive towards speed. I don't think, oh, Quadrox, well, I can understand why Quad wants to get the cannons. He's not microing hard enough against these Zealots, so he's not abusing how easy it is to kite, and now it looks like speed might have just kicked in for those Zealots, and he's got a few gateways, obviously. Oh, wait, he's only got 2. This is going to be tight. Let's see if these cannons can get up. It's going to be very tight. Probes have already fallen here. There's a possibility that Wrench can defend, but a good Zerg here for sure would win. Like this was a high-level game. This would go to Zerg. 2 gateways. With these, if there were 4 gates, I would say okay, you can probably hold this off. But it's not really doable with just 2 gateways. So let's see. Red Quad is going to commit to the Hydras 100% for sure. He's moving forward. He's trying to get a cannon. Good snipe. And now he should pull back right now. Okay, good. So far, Quadrox is microing this very crisply here. And the situation's looking pretty bad. Just needs to come in, deny those last cannons here. He's got the Zealots coming in really bad arcs. They're taking a ton of damage, getting softened up. And yes, we did see there was an Archives, but there were no Templar made. So it's going to be a long time for Templar to even finish, and an even longer time to have Storm. Okay, don't target Morphin cannons. Target finished cannons first. They do more DPS. Needs to bring the Hydra in from the back, but it's going all right now for Red Quad. The Zealot count is getting whittled down. We are getting close to GG, unless there's an Overlord there, so a DT can't do anything. So unless Red Quad just goes crazy AFK right now, it looks like he's done it. There is a DT, but guess what else there is? There's an Overlord, so that DT does nothing. The downside of going Corsairs, all the cannons are shut down. More Hydra are being rallied. Red Quad has either missed a little bit of macro cycles or overdrone just a bit, but enough to get it done. GG is called. So yeah, unfortunately, just a scouting error from Wrench, and that shows it. You know, if you lose your scouting probe, holy shit, it's windy. Wow. If you lose your scouting probe, you gotta have another one on the map, or you gotta either accept losses like that, or accept that you need to build a little bit of extra defense. Like if you build 3 or 4 cannons, if he would have already built 3 or 4, then he probably would have been able to hold on in that situation. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. So yeah. I tried to remake game 1 though. Alright, here we go. Game number 2. Game number 2. But yeah, I can't even stress how important scouting is. Alright, so in the bottom right-hand corner, down 1 game, we have Wrench 420. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as the Red Zerg, we have Quadrox. Alright, so Quadrox opting to play very aggressively in the first game with that 3-hatch Hydra. Now we'll see if he plays differently this game or if he sticks towards the same idea. And to be perfectly fair, I have no idea. I do not know what Quadrox standard / preferred / most comfortable styles of play are. So we're going to be watching this, you're going to be watching this, we're all going to be finding out. Wow, it actually tells me my friends started watching a replay. Oh my gosh, so informative. So absolutely informative. So yeah, the other option I was going to say, if it's speedling, it's a little bit more dangerous. The other option you can do, particularly if the lings are slow and you haven't been able to get out and get any scouting intel, is when you get 3 Zealots, pressure with those 3 Zealots. Those can give you just enough time to see if it's Hydra that you can probably get some cannons up and get an idea of what Zerg is doing. So yeah, it's just absolutely a must-do. Like, you have to have probes alive in the Zerg space, or else you're going to have to make a lot of blind defenses, or if you opt to not make blind defenses, you're going to have a lot of just losses where you die to a Hydra bust. Yeah, cooler. Thanks for following, man. I appreciate it. Alright, so the pool is down again. Overpool here again from Quadrox. That certainly seems to be a preferred build from him. And we got a few more drones popping on out here. No surprises. And again, a little bit early on this drone from Quadrox. Don't need to send it out until about maybe 200 to 230 minerals, unless of course it's a scout. Although I believe it's more common to scout when you're just going to make your hatchery. Yeah, so we can see this drone's here a bit early, so he's losing probably 10 minerals from this. You know, not the end of the world, but it's not optimum. And I'm a big believer within reason in optimizing your early game. There's really nothing else you have to focus on. It doesn't require any APM, so just no reason not to kind of crisp up those timings. We do have a first cannon here from Wrench, playing it safe. Now, I will also comment on this. I don't particularly like what Wrench did here. A few things he could have done better in terms of his scouting. The first is to send the first probe to right here, and then if you see an Overlord at this base, then you know where Zerg is, and if not, then you can immediately head over here. And the other thing that I would like to see him do is double scout. Very good in PvZ. You send one scout out when you build the pylon, and you send the second scout out after the forge, and then one of those two scouts will find the base, and you can always know, do I need to make a cannon first? Do I need to make or can I make a Nexus first? And you're never left guessing. Now in this case, it obviously worked out just fine for him, but in many other cases, when Zerg 12 hatches, he's put himself needlessly behind by electing not to double scout and or abuse this third base kind of scout. That thing is still running. It's not a 24-hour stream. It's a lie. I could have sworn I like deleted these timers, but they're somehow still going. I'm gonna have to sit down and play around with Streamlabs Ob's chatbot. All right, so we got a gateway finished here. Now, are we gonna do +1 again? No. Oh, actually, never mind. He only just started mining gas. I don't know. Maybe we should see a cybernetics core coming up here shortly. Oh, jolly. No cybernetics core yet. Okay, we're gonna really delay the core. We're gonna go 100 gas to no core. Okay, core. Cool. Are we going 100 gas here? Yeah, okay, so we're going to do quite potentially the same build. Now, to be honest, if you're going to skip Citadel, or skip Stargate, skip Citadel, I don't think you could play PvZ skipping a Citadel. If you're going to play PvZ skipping a Stargate and go for fast +1, then I would really like to see like 4 gates and do it aggressively. Like, the whole point of skipping Stargate is to have this really fast, very aggressive, in-your-face +1 timing, and that's just a lot stronger off of 4 gates. So go for that variation if you're willing to play without a Stargate, and we can see he is going to go for the same build. That does seem to be his standard. But I would rather see 4-gate aggression, all things considered. And Quadrox is going to play with Hydra Bust again, and probably Wrench is going to die to Hydra Bust again because he is refusing to scout. Yeah, just can't do that. Cannot do that. He's just okay. Well, this time he is going to scout with 3 zealots, so he has beefed up his scouting just a little bit. Now he should have sent out a probe to try to find this sooner, but this will at least give him a little bit of a window to find this. Now the unfortunate side to this is the speed is going to finish up, and these zealots will die because the Hydra will be able to micro against them very easily. But it will hopefully give Wrench time to get down a few cannons. Now this timing is tight, and he will want to micro, but now here's the tricky part. Wrench needs to add the cannons right now and try to micro the zealots at the same time. Okay, he is adding the cannons. He needs to add about 5 or 6 though if he wants to live this. Alright, so he's coming in here. This is good, buying a little bit of time. Red Quad can certainly micro against this. Should just do more kiting micro here since he has the speed advantage, but he's giving off a lot of free shots. Now, Wrench has only added 4 cannons. He needs to, okay, he is cutting probes. Now we're getting some of the cannons up that he needs. He did get his speed started. Needs a couple more cannons, though, than just this. 5 is still not enough against a well-controlled Zerg Hydra busting. Quadrox, unfortunately, does not chase down the Zealots and get kills on all of them, but he did soften them up quite a bit. And of course now just the Hydra streaming out across the map. Try to pay attention, a little more attention to the macro. It looks like he's got... Could balance his saturation maybe a smidge more? Or are we about right? No, never mind, we got it about right. Okay, so yeah, pretty good from Quadrox. We're getting all the lings in. It did buy enough time, so you can see how this plays out now. It's not a guarantee. Good micro. Oh, Quadrox. Okay, never mind. He's just trying to range down the gateway. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. This will also allow a little bit more time for cannons. Does not want to engage with these zealots. Oh, Wrench, you gotta hold position, those bad boys. Gotta hold. Oh, okay. Oh, Quadrox, you gotta hold position your Hydras too. Alright, so going back to attacking that forge, attacking that gateway. More cannons being added. Let's see if he's teching into Templar as this continues. Yes, he is. And he is making some, so I like the way this is being played. I'm starting to think he's adding cannons. He's taking this very seriously. I'm starting to like the way that Wrench is playing this. And Quadrox, of course, is going super full all-in committed Hydra Bust. It's still going to be a bit dicey, though. You really need to keep adding cannons against this. And if Quadrox uses the Lings properly and runs in here, this is still threatening. I mean, he's still making a lot of Hydra. He doesn't have the Lings in the front. But again, it's a lot of Hydra coming in here. And there we go, moving back out of range of the Zealots. Most of the Zealots dead. We're down to about a group of Hydra, though. This is going to be tight. Still, Zealots soaking damage, though. And for the moment, he's holding on. And Red Quadrox, though, has another round of reinforcements. Now he just needs to move in here and snipe cannons. He's gone into Templar. He's lost one gateway. Oh, he actually, okay, he has a Templar out. And here we go. Let's see. The Hydra are not coming in all particularly together, not target firing the weakened cannons. Should just focus on the cannons over the Zealots. They're more important. They are being softened up. But he has lost the Forge. Did he rebuild it? No. Okay, it's a tight window, but actually Storm is going to finish, and he's going to hold. He should hold. He should hold. He should hold. I would have to go back and watch that. I felt like Quadrox had what he needed to break. I think there was some things he could have done better with his target firing, and the way he initially moved in on those cannons after the Zealots died. But he definitely gave Wrench a bit of a fright. But now with the Forge refinishing, all right, so it's going to be really hard to build cannons out in front like that if that's what he's trying to do. All right, Quadrox, please, before you move in, please get in a line. Like, pull, okay, so he needed to, like, pull them down before he did this, but now there's a Storm, so that's going to kill those Hydra. And now Quadrox is obviously in a really bad position. He's actually just going to keep going for this. This is way too aggressive. Way too aggressive. And yeah, Wrench has done a pretty good job here. He's added more gateways, he's gotten Storm. He really should have made 2 more Templar. Rather than just 2. 4 is better to have. But Quadrox, you gotta have a transition, man. You can't just keep making Hydra. Should really try to transition out of this at this point. And probably a little while ago. But Quadrox is just gonna blindly stick to Hydra and blindly fail to do anything with his Hydra and eventually get overrun here as Wrench macros up. Alright, here comes some Zealots running out. Gonna try to clear these Hydra out of the front. A few reinforcements coming in from Quadrox. Probably shouldn't fight without the Templar, though. This is actually a bit wasteful. He's gonna lose a few Zealots doing this. Not a tremendous number, but a few. Yeah, there we go. Moving back to the bridge. Good spot. See how many Zealots he gave up for that? Yeah, he killed 4 or 5 Hydra, but he lost 3 or 4 Zealots. Like, that's not a particularly great trade. And now Wrench just has to sit back a little longer. Like, in this case, you can just sit back. You know, get 4 or 5 Templar, get 2 or 3 groups of Zealots, 2 groups of Zealots, maybe start adding some Dragoons, and then move out and roll over everything Quadrox has. Or just wait for Quadrox to apparently decide to attack into the cannons. But again, he doesn't really have any options. He's just way overcommitting to Hydra busting at this point. Very one-track mind kind of game. I mean, obviously, if you try your first Hydra bust and it fails, like, you're going to be pretty far behind. But this is just being way overly one-track. It's like, he's like, I must kill him, I must kill him, I must kill him, Hydra, 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 Hydra. But in reality, you gotta do something different. Can't just keep sending in Hydra off 3 hatches against a full 2 base powering Protoss. Okay, hitting some decent Storms. Alright, come in here, trying to hopefully get a snipe on these Templar. Should be able to get 1, maybe? It's down to just 1 Hydra. Oh! Some Lings coming in, but they don't have speed. They don't have speed. Not that scary. Okay, we're even adding in a few Dragoons. We're getting range. So yeah, Wrench still doing okay. I wouldn't have those Templar out in front like he does. I'd have them behind the Zealots, but outside of that, it's okay. And it looks like he's ready to maybe move out on the map now. And we can see finally Quadrox maybe trying to add a drone or 2. Oh, these Templar are so snipeable. Oh, Wrench, be careful, my friend. All right, he's gonna get 1 of them. If he actually snipes these Templar, there's an outside chance he could hold this, and he's gonna get him. He's getting him. Wrench is having a hard time. That's one of the reasons why it can be nice to wait till you have 6 or 10 Dragoons, because they obviously make it a hell of a lot harder for Hydra to just run in there and snipe Templar. And all right, so Wrench's army is not entirely together, but he is macroing pretty damn hard right now. You don't see that very often from a Protoss. And now Quadrox, well, he's desperately adding Sunkens, but that's just further fucking his eco and putting it further into the toilet. So even if he somehow holds the attack, he's still going to be incredibly far behind. Especially so if Wrench puts down a base while doing this. But even if he doesn't, it doesn't really matter. Quadrox is trying to get some drones out. But we got units on top of these spores. See, oh, there's a Hydra back there. Or on top of these spores. On top of these Sunkens, way too many Zealots. Should see GG coming up. Oh my god. Nice Storm on those drones. And Quadrox is going to be making his exit here shortly with Wrench squaring the series up. And we are going to head to a Game 3 between these two Titans. Between these two Tier 2 Titans. And it looks like Quadrox has chosen Roadkill of all maps. Interesting choice. Alright, so in the top position here at 12 o'clock, as the Purple Protoss, we have Wrench 420. And in the bottom position here, as the Brown Zerg at 6 o'clock, we have BRU's Quadrox. So let's see here. Previous game, nobody showed any deviations from the way they were liking to play, sticking very much to their same styles. Of course, that being a Stargateless 2-gate speed lot timing here from Wrench, and a 3-hatch Hydra aggression, 3-hatch Hydra bust style of play from Quadrox. Now we'll see if they deviate this game or if we get a third rehashing of the same game. In first game number 1, Quadrox got the better of it. In game number 2, Wrench got the better of it. Wrench made some nice adjustments. Debo the Pit, thank you for following, sir. I appreciate it. And welcome to the stream. Welcome to the jungle, as the song goes. Alright, so we got a pylon. This is a little bit tricky here. So Roadkill is a little bit trickier. It's a hard map to wall. It's a really hard map to wall. I think what he's going to go for is probably a forge here and a gateway. And if this is tight, this actually could be a pretty nice wall. In which case, I'll actually find that really cool if this is what I think it is. Let's see how well he's prepared. Aw, damn. Okay, never mind. I was hoping there's something you could do, like putting a forge here and then like a gateway here, and you could actually make like a legit solid 1-hex wall. But this is going to be a very leaky wall. Or a very awkward wall. Because, I mean, if he puts the gateway here, it's really going to limit his space for cannons. Like, his cannons would have to go in a cluster here, which allows this Hydras to get, like, a concave against the cannons, which is really bad. And, yeah, it looks like this is where the gateway is going to go. So it's just going to be a really awkward position to put cannons. He doesn't have very far back to put them. So if Quadrox indeed... Oh, actually, never mind. Quadrox is not opting to go 9 overpool. He's opting to go 9 pool and probably speed. Come on, Quadrox. You doing it? Oh, makes another drone. Makes another ling. Okay, lings are out. Keep the pro alive! Ah! Get speed. He's taking guys off gas, but he hasn't started his speed. Is this really going to be lair? Is it going to be 1-hatch lair? What are you doing? You got 104 gas! Spend the gas! Spend the gas! No! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, we did get speed, but it's really, really delayed. Okay, so he's pulling a assload of probes. That's overkill, but this is what happens when you make a shitty wall. Yeah. He's actually going to need a 3rd cannon eventually if Quadrox plays this right. 2 cannons is not enough. Especially not set up on a map like this. Like, there's a run-by path. It's literally just a perfect run-by path here. And the normal way to play this is to make 12 lings and then go for the run-by. The second speed kicks in. Now, the speed should have been done right about 3:30, but instead we're probably looking at closer to a 4-minute speed. There was a massive delay where Quadrox sat on his 100 gas. Now, if he just sits here like this for days, but you can see he just doesn't have enough money. Did you just make and cancel an extractor? Or are my eyes playing tricks on me? Quadrox, you gotta send the rest of your links up, bro. You gotta send the rest of your links up if you're gonna go for this. Alright, so we got one zealot out. Oh, he's actually making zealots just before. I didn't realize he made a gateway before his nexus. I wasn't even thinking about that. So, okay, so this was obviously a mistake by Wrench to not nexus first. Like, you still go forward, you still go nexus. You need to add a 2nd cannon first against 9 pool, but you don't make the gateway before. It might allow him to survive, though. We'll see. Survive is the wrong word. But lings can still come up here and, like, attack this probe, kill it, and then immediately run in. There's only 2 cannons. If there were 3 cannons, they couldn't try those kind of shenanigans, but those shenanigans are an option against this. But it doesn't look like Quadrox is going to do that. And then we'll just have to see where Quadrox takes. Is he just going to go pure ling all in? I couldn't fault him if he did. If he just goes 3-hatch and just, like, goes straight ling all in. He hasn't really made any drones. Yeah, it looks like he is just going to go ling all in. So Quadrox is really bringing the all-in pain here. Alright, so he's going to see these Zealots. This is a huge mistake this time from our Protoss hero. Because, well, never mind. If he just sits right there, it's not. But if he moves out too far, he knows Zerg has speed. He knows Zerg has a decent number of lings. He can't move out. And this is the annoying situation for Protoss. This is an annoying build to play against because they're forced to get a decent amount of defense. And there's a lot of things Zerg can do, and you don't know what it's going to be. And unfortunately, Quadrox Ling all in with any sort of micro is absolutely just going to destroy poor Wrench here. He's only got 2 cannons. You need at least 3 against Ling all in, and that's with a good wall. He's got a bad wall. So as long as Quadrox just gets some run by, gets some surface area on the cannons, those will go down promptly, and then Ling Flood will close this out. Probes are being pulled. Actually, the Zealots have done a lot of damage, but the cannon is down. So now basically Quadrox can just run the Lings in here. As long as he reinforces this, maybe sends in those Lings that are not fighting right now. Probes are getting devoured. I mean, we can all see where this game is headed. No chance to get another cannon up here at the natural. And Quadrox going to be taking it. Going to be punishing the poor wall here from Protoss. Although I won't really like fault Wrench too hard. This map is bitchin' hard to wall. But I would say if you're going to do something like that on this map, basically my thought would be ideally learn a good wall for each position on this map if you want to Forge Expand. Or if you don't have the time or the ability to do that, just play conservative. Should have been 3, maybe even 4 cannons there. Yeah, it's not as great, but that's what there should have been. Oh, he's actually he's getting up cannons here that Quadrox is just flat out ignoring. But they're not very drillable cannons. And I mean, Quadrox is mostly just spamming Lings. Should probably rally his hatcheries up. But the natural's gone. We've lost a decent number of the probes. Now 2 cannons here have finished, but apparently not in range of this pylon. And this cannon will die immediately. And even this cannon will die fairly easily. Oh, actually, this is a bit awkward. No, he sees it, though. Say, if the Templar Archive's finished, and the... oh, well, okay, maybe he pulls all his probes like this, but actually there are already a few Lings on top of the cannon. So cannon number 1 goes down super fast, and now just 1 more cannon standing between Quadrox and victory. He's hesitating a little bit. I don't know if that was... Okay, well, he gets a few Lings on top of it. And he eventually gets this round. Needs a glitch, but it's kind of hard to glitch with the cannon in that position. So no more cannons left. He's probably going to start a DT here if he knows what's good for him. If he could have bought a little more time, the DT would have gotten the job done. He is pulling probes. He's hitting a pretty good drill, but there's just way too many Lings at this point, obviously. You're not going to stop 3-hatch flood of Lings with just probes. And there we go. GG is called. Quadrox, the aggro man, gets it taken out. Gets it taken, or takes out Wrench after this game. Slayer, I guess that all depends on the perspective you're watching from. If you are watching to learn the game, then this is like an informative commentary designed to, like, you know, talk about ways to improve and stuff like that. So it's replay analysis and things like that. But if you're watching purely for like high quality entertainment, then yeah, maybe. But you'd be surprised, in all honesty, you'd be surprised how entertaining a lot of these games are. Like, yes, you get some bad games that are really static, and there's no other way to call them. They are just a bit boring. But you also get some ones that are just really entertaining or really funny or uniquely back and forth. And so we're into our next series here. In the top left-hand corner, as the purple Zerg, we have Triptych, or Triptych. And in the bottom right-hand corner, as the yellow Zerg, we have Jake Bliskin. Well, yeah, of course these guys' mechanics aren't solid, man. They're all learning. We're all learning, but you know, this is down around 1500 MMR or so. So, you know, not going to see perfect mechanics by any stretch of the imagination. But again, if you are, I would say, realistically sub B, certainly if you are sub C, then lots of stuff to learn here from the commentary, and it's as much instructional as it is, what do you call it, just casting the game, so to speak. Alright, so Overlord is out for Triptych, and Overlord is out for Pliskin, both in alternate directions. And I think I have my stream titled that way. I think it's titled, like, CPL, like, commentary / analysis. You know, a little bit of it is just breaking down and saying, alright, what are the things that went wrong? What could we have done better in these sort of games? Alright, so we have Overlord here on the way for Pliskin. And bam. Alright, so, okay. Okay, we're getting eco. Okay. At least it's cross map, but let's see if he puts down a pool. No, it's gonna be a. Oh, it is gonna be a 12 pool. Okay. Well, all right, we got 12 pool. Hey, Micah Dean 13. How you doing, man? Welcome to Master's stream, aka my stream. That'd be a little weird if I refer to myself in third person. So we got a 12 pool here from Pliskin, or with gas. Okay. I believe you usually get a hatchery first. I'm not super expert in ZVZ builds though, but it is cross map, and it is 12 pool. So depending on what he does, if he doesn't make a hatchery, he'll be fine. But if he does make a hatchery, which he's going out to do now, if he makes a hatchery, you definitely get into a situation where you have to defend, and it's a little bit difficult, especially because he did opt to go for 9 pool speed. But cross map's going to give a little bit more time, and of course 12 pool has a little bit more potential to defend against a 9 pool speed than does 12 hatch. Oh, so it is pool gas hatch? Okay, well, we got no one here to back it up. 12 pool is not a build that I'm familiar with at all, so this is, I guess, the normal way of doing it. But we've got cross map spawns, so he's got a little bit better chance to defend. It's still a tricky defense, and of course the difference here is that you will have lings out a bit faster. And it looks like he's actually has his lings out fast enough, but he has made a mistake, I would say. I would assume this is a mistake, not being able to make a full pair of 6 lings. And oh no, that's the one thing that Pliskin can't do, is start to take an engagement against a greater number of lings. Now, it looks like somehow the way that fought, it didn't actually go that bad for Pliskin. It went relatively even. So he gets a little bit fortunate there, but it's tenuous, and speed is about to kick in. Speed is done. So it's all about maneuverability here. Equal numbers for Tripitch, now superior numbers. Pliskin really needed to have drones pull, and he doesn't have drones pulled, so he's going to have to run back to the ramp, which means Tripitch should swing back and go into attack and hatchery, and then Pliskin down the ramp, but the mobility advantage is great, and it's a great arc for Tripitch. Pliskin commits to an attack, and that should be more or less enough to do it. That will be the end of the hatch here for Pliskin, unless something goes really wrong. Or I guess Tripitch is just going to go for it. So Tripitch is going to play it a little more on the risky side, but he's getting a lot of drones. There's no drilling here at all from Pliskin, so the lings are doing more than enough damage. This is going to be GG. The economic damage here, absolutely massive, and GG is called. I believe from that, usually when I see it defended, you need to pull a couple drones. You need to just be very, very careful with your lings. Dance around the hatchery. Wait for the speed to kick in, and wait for the lings from the natural hatchery as well to kick in. Yeah, you might have gotten a little greedy on the drones. Yeah, that could be the case. All right, so we're gonna go into game 2. It is gonna be on Circuit Breaker. Of course, it's ZVZ, so maps are perhaps a little less important. But bottom left-hand corner, as the green Zerg, we have Jake Pliskin, and in the top left-hand corner, as the yellow Zerg, we have Tripitch, or Triptych. Gotta say it right in my head. Hatch some Hydralisks. Yeah, I mean, you can play Hydralisk in ZVZ. You know, it's not something you're gonna see in Korean level ZVZ, but there are definitely some pretty strong foreigners that have had success with Hydra builds. I don't know what you'd actually need to do as far as build order goes, like how you get your third hatch, how you drone up, how you transition. I'm gonna assume it has to involve the use of Sunkens, but I don't have a good Hydra ZVZ build that I can offer or opine on. And against really, really good level Muta play, it definitely becomes disadvantageous. Muta are just too powerful compared to the mobility of Hydra. But certainly if you are, you know, anybody other than near Korean level and want to play with Hydras, go for it. You can get pretty damn good at ZVZ playing with Hydras. All right, so this is going to be a, what is this? Is this overpull? No, 9 pull. Oop. 9 pull here from Triptych again. And okay, well, it could still be overpull. Probably not overpull now though. So Pliskin is again going to be on the receiving end of suboptimal build orders. But let's see here. He's got a lot of money. He's got 12. Okay, he's gonna go 12 hatch, so it's gonna be even worse this time. And probably gonna be a 2-0 here for Pliskin, but you know, it's possible. 12 hatches have defended 9 pool speeds before, and of course there's no And it is an in-base 12th hatch, so that definitely increases the defendability. The chances here for Pliskin to be able to hold this. Much easier to defend, much closer reinforcements, all kinds of differences. Mineral lines, much more accessible for drilling. We should see the gas. There we go. Pliskin gonna grab that gas. And what do we have here? 3 sets of lings coming out, and we got, well, we're gonna have to wait on overlords and other such things. Oh, actually, overlord's done. Excuse that. I don't know why I just said that. That was blatantly wrong. Definitely doesn't have to wait on an overlord. He's got 2 overlords. And did we go? Oh, we went 9-pool lair this game. Oh, okay. Okay. And that is something to remember in ZVZ. And almost every other matchup, if you see gas and a pool, it's almost always going to be 9-pool speed. But in ZVZ, you can actually get some 9-pool lair games. And that is what we have here. So it's going to be very, very fast muta. Oh, we're getting an Evo chamber already. That seems very fast. I don't believe it's needed anywhere near that fast. Ugh. So that's too fast for Pliskin. At the same time, it looks like Triptych like didn't even realize that he was at the right base. He just checked for a hatchery, and then apparently he just didn't want to fuck with the ramp at all. So he doesn't actually go in far enough and misses the chance to at least get a few drone kills or disrupt mining. So that's a very unfortunate loss for Triptych, and that now puts Pliskin at a pretty nice spot. In terms of at least economy and such things. Now he's going to have to deal with the incredible speed of these muta, because let's face it, his lair is going to be eternally late. So in some ways, I still don't really like how this game feels for Pliskin. We got a Spire going up, but if Pliskin just goes for lings here, he's grabbing speed. If he just goes for lings, there hasn't been a sunken at it, and if there isn't a sunken at it, he should just be able to more or less roll over Triptych with 2 hatches of lings and either destroy the economy and or kill the Spire, preventing any muta numbers. And of course, he made the super... Oh, he's actually going for this build. This build! Oh my gosh, I haven't seen this in a long time. This one you actually add a 3rd hatch with, but you get lings with +1, and they kill a lot faster. You get some stupidly powerful lings. They will just absolutely shred the other lings. It's really... You know, I mean, if you think about it, +1 attack is a 20% damage increase in Zergling power, so... it's a little bit of a cheeky build you don't see very often. I haven't seen it in ages. I don't even know where Pliskin picked it up from, but that is really cute. So he's going to slaughter the lings of Triptych, and it's going to be a question of, can Triptych get a sunken down? Can he drill long enough to get muta out? Now, obviously, it looks like he's got a creep in place to make a spore. We should see Pliskin going here a little bit sooner. We should see him going here shortly. Oh, okay, this is not the variant of it I know. I know a variant of it where you actually get a 3rd hatch and do this. And the other thing that makes this a little bit different that might not work is he's waited too long against a super fast muta like this. His claw timing is basically going to allow the muta to be out. Now, if he just absolutely dominates with the lings, he's still going to kill the hatch. He's still going to have so many lings that he's going to be able to kill off drones and or the Spire. But, you know... He's adding 2 spores. The muta are definitely not going to hurt him back at home. But he needs to go with his lings. He should go with them, like, really soon. Alright, so Scourge are actually being sent to kill overlords. And is there another one here? Yeah, but there's going to be... well, it's only 1 Scourge. So it will live. Oh, actually, it will die. The Scourge will die. The Overlord will definitely live. Alright, here goes the fight. So, there we go. Pliskin rearranging his control, going for this round. And +1 will be kicking in here right about now. So, let's see if we're going to drop a Panic Sunken. 1 muta is not going to stop all these lings from tearing through the drones unless Pliskin really struggles with his control. Maybe he takes a really bad fight at the ramp or something similar here. He is definitely coming in a bit of a line. Oh my god, so this is a really powerful arc. Now we go, that's a little bit better. Actually, he's going to go for a split of lings, and of course the +1 lings then eventually starting to murder the other lings, and now it's just letting them kill drones, and there's no lings alive, so the lings are going to nicely auto-target the drones. He's focusing on the Spire, but too many of the lings are not really fighting. He's not getting a ton of kills with them. He's getting some, though. If he gets 3 or 4 more drones, that's pretty good damage, but he doesn't, and he doesn't get the Spire either. You know, he is going to be running in a lot more lings, but let's face it, he's been able to already get out, what is this, 5 muta? We got 3 drones here, we got 6 drones left over, and that is almost equal economy. Only 1 more drone. Oh, Pliskin really having a a bit of a unfortunate macro day here. He's going to add a Spire of his own. He needs to add drones of his own. Now with these 2 spores, 5 Muta, can't take out a spore. 6 is where it gets a bit dicey. 6 you can pull one back and take care of a spore pretty easily. And of course Triptych also has that second hatchery. Let's see if it stays alive. Ling's continuing to run around, forcing the Muta to chase. Let's see what happens. Here we go, running in. Alright, well, he obviously has the upgrade advantage, so again, the Lings are going to be very powerful. Let's see what he does with them. But there are 2 hatcheries from which Triptych can produce Lings. He's pulling the Muta back to home. He's retreating with his Lings, not bad. He actually puts them on hold position here, and he's going to go for the Spire. This time, it looks like he will get the... No, focus the Spire! Okay, Spire's going to go down. And then will we get another drone or 2? If he can get 2 more drones, it starts to look actually not as bad for him. But again, Triptych needs to stop mining gas. His gas is going through the roof. But Triptych also has 2 drones back here. What is he making in these eggs right now? Okay, none of them are drones. So not that good from an economic standpoint. So this game is interesting here, but Pliskin's hurting pretty bad. He's very turtle up. If you would have made a round of drones before, and all of a sudden you would have had 12 drones with a Spire coming, I would have said, okay, maybe this can normalize. But now, remember, there's also 0 defense. 0 defense. Like, ground defense. Not a sunken here. If there was a sunken here, but I'm pretty scared for him because we all know what happens when Lings click on spores. And there's enough Muta here that if the Lings even kill this spore, the Muta can go and kill the other spore. And this looks pretty bad for Pliskin. He's going for a drill. It's not... Well, actually, the drill was a little bit late. Should have happened about a second earner. Ah, Muta running in. Scourge popping at a pretty good time. These Scourge could make the difference. These Scourge could make the difference, but the Lings are still alive, and there's only 1 drone, so it actually doesn't matter. And enough damage is dealt here that Triptych is going to be taking this 2-0 over Pliskin. This game did get kind of interesting, though. Unfortunately, in this case, I would have gone a bit sooner, Pliskin, even though I know you had your +1 attack in mind. You had the numbers, you had the reinforcements. If you would have gone pre-Muta and started pressuring with those Lings, your +1 still is going to kick in. But you had more Lings than him to begin with. And then you would have forced him to basically say, oh shit, like, I have to make Lings. Like, if you're attacking him, he has to make Lings. He can't afford to make Muta. If he makes Muta, when you've killed all his Lings and are reinforcing from 2 hatches, like, he's completely dead. And then you wouldn't have had the Muta, and your +1 would have kicked in. I think that game could have gone your way had you done that. But I know it's pretty easy to be like, oh, I'm doing this timing, and I'm gonna attack at +2. It's an easy mindset, an easy thing to do. But I definitely think that game, from what I saw there, that game was winnable for you. Now, if you would have added a sunken, then it would have been a totally different situation. But he didn't, and so I think that was a missed opportunity in hindsight. All right, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, 0. Spawning in the top right-hand corner as the purple Terran, we have Hermu. And in the bottom left-hand corner, as the white Protoss, we have Probe King. So, oh, gotta kill the replay progress bar. Man, these casts get long. I guess there's just a lot of games. I forget there's a lot of games. Ooh, maybe some nice juicy turn rate 24. Unless this is total sarcasm. Oh, but that doesn't seem like sarcasm. That seems like serious business. Alright, so I'm trying to remember what we saw from Probe King's series. We just casted some games from him yesterday. Trying to think about his play. We definitely talked about his name. I hope I'm not wrong, but I recall he seemed like he was probably on the lower end of Tier 2. From what I remember, if I'm wrong, well, we'll see pretty quickly from his gameplay. As for Hermu, I don't know. I know the name for sure, but I don't know what to expect from him as far as skill goes, as far as whether or not this will be a nice balanced game. And yeah, I have to admit, what you say, Pliskin, about, or I think it was Pliskin who was telling me this, about the different tiers, and how Tier 2 encompasses a wide skill level, explains why it feels like there's a boatload of 2-0 series in CPL. I think everything I've casted, there's been a lot of 2-0s. Alright, so the simulator goes up as well as the gateway. And we are going to have gas and barracks, so normal looking here for Hermu. For some reason I thought this was a PvP for half a second. But it certainly is not. And of course, scouting incorrectly here is Mr. Hermu, but he'll be finding him on the second one. Unless he suddenly decides to go cross map, but that's a pretty atypical scouting pattern. And we got 3 on gas, we're getting our core. All things normal. All things normal coming up. Yeah, I don't know. Probably my opinion is that CPL, although I would need to know if this would affect overall player numbers, but I feel like there's a lot of interest in CPL, so I'm not worried. I really feel like Tier 1 should probably be wow, that was a stutter. I feel like Tier 1 should be lower level. Like, Tier 1 should probably cap out at, like, you either cap it out at C or you cap it out at, like, 1700, and have Tier 1 be, like, I don't know, 1500 to 1700. Have Tier 2 be, like, 1300 to 1500, which is still a pretty big skill difference, but it's not, like, it's not quite the same difference as a 1650 versus a 1350 guy. And then have Tier 3 be everything down below. That would be, I think that would be a little bit better way to slice them up. Or if you're finding you can get plenty of players, maybe you'd even shrink Tier 1 and have Tier 1 be like 1500, or maybe even, probably 1500 to 1650 or something like that. That would keep the games in Tier 1 pretty tight. And then have Tier 2 be, you know, 1300 to 1500. Ideally, you'd want to keep tiers to between 100 MMR, but that just gets to be too many tiers. Because I'm trying to remember what the breakdown is. I know there's an official breakdown for what the expected win rate for someone that's 100 MMR different is. Yeah, now, again, I don't know if Blizzard's MMR is true like MMR, or if it's ELO. Either one. I'm thinking of one of them where there's a definitive definition. Like, I don't know if this is the correct one, but what I'm getting at is, if there's a 100 point difference, like let's say you've got a 1300 playing a 1200, then that 1300 player should win, say, 75% of the time, based on how it sticks out. So, you know, if you start talking gaps of 200 or 300 or 400 MMR, then obviously the win rate between those two players is going to be dramatically whatever. And the other thing I will say for CPL is that win rates are only a concern in the first couple weeks of the season, and maybe not even then, because improvement is a factor, right? Like, if everyone starts in Tier 1 at 1650, but one player just works hard and trains and jumps to 1900, then he should crush through most of the other players. And if the other players don't improve, then that's on them. So, you know, if you're losing to other Tier 2 guys more than the first couple games of the season, I would say there's nothing wrong. Like, that should happen. And if it's not happening, that actually implies that no one's getting better. All right, so we're having, is this 2-gate? Yeah, this is 2-gate aggression here, along with an observatory and another pylon down here. But it looks like a 2-fact. Oh, we're having 2-fact from Hermu. All right, so Hermu's going aggressive mode, aggro mode. Probe King's gone 2 gateway, and he's made pretty consistent goons, and he's cross map. So good micro here. Oh, siege. 2-fact with siege, huh? All right. All right. Well, all right. So, with good control here, Probe King has enough units that he can theoretically defend this. It's definitely a control thing. It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world for Probe King to do, but he certainly has the ability to defend this. He's got an obs out. Should probably bring that obs up. Hermu, I feel like, well, actually, I don't know. I don't know how good Probe King is, but Hermu is playing this like almost comically defensive here. He's going 2-fact, which is a super aggressive build, and then he's not being aggressive at all with it, which is definitely not the correct response. So he's really hurting himself here, especially because Probe King put down, and he's just 2-fact into expand. It's not a good choice. 2-fact is slightly advantage against 2-gate in terms of the ability to win the micro battle. Okay, now if he's going to expand behind this, that's not inherently bad, but he needs to get everything together. It's really unfortunate that he went for siege. It's much more common to go for vulture speed and mines. You can see the vultures are getting way too far in front of the tanks, though. Now, if he can actually pin in the dragoons with mines like this, that's great, but this works so much better with speed, but it is pinning in the dragoons, and even a mine goes off. So now this becomes a pretty decent start. Trading 3 or 4 vultures for 3 or 4 goons, hell yes. And we do have speed on the way, so as long as he rallies these vultures down, this becomes a very scary attack now that Probe King is dealing with. He has been producing fairly consistently from his 2 gates, though. Unfortunately, what I don't like is he's not getting out on the map. He's not being active here. These tanks are relatively unsupported, and 4 or 5 goons can definitely attack these tanks. Let's see if he just walks on top of them. Needs to walk forward on the tanks, but there's no micro, and maybe a few too many tanks here to fight. So right now, this is still going okay for Hermu, but there's only 3 tanks left, 4 dragoons. One of the tanks sieging up, not a bad choice here, going to force this back, but probes are pulled, and now all 3 of the tanks are sieged. This is a very nice time for those vultures to arrive, and now mines being laid here, and that is going to carry off those goons, and he is going to go in and harass. I like this decision from Hermu. The shuttle's not a bad idea. It might allow him to break this, but unfortunately he's losing all the probes here at the natural. He's mining up the gateways. He really should just go behind here and kill some probes while there are no units. And obviously, a terrible place to be in if you're Hermu. More mines being laid. Will the vultures get away? One of them does. But another one gets eaten up, and gonna lay maybe a few more mines in front of these gateways. Oh, vulture fighting over here, but this tank is in range of the Nexus, but this drop is gonna be pretty powerful here. Wait, how the hell did that tank even disappear? What the fuck? I do have no idea what just happened to that tank. Shuttle here has a Dragoon, but the Dragoon is temporarily forgotten. Unfortunately, with only 1 tank sieged up, it's not actually all that powerful. There's no tanks attacking each other with Splash. The Nexus is lost here, and Hermu is expanded. He sent a few SCVs over, probably sending a few more vultures than he absolutely has to into the main, especially because their obs are out. But now here, this is a good vulture. Now we're getting some probe kills, paying for themselves. Tremendous damage being done here by Hermu. The Nexus is now down. 1 Dragoon fighting a single siege tank should micro the tank back. Ah, no, okay. Well, maybe going to run in for a few more probe kills, being a little bit indecisive with the vultures, laying a few mines here, and then just going to head into the mineral line, look for a few more probe kills. Let's see how the target firing is here. How many more can he get? I see 1 going down. I see 2 going down. Can he get a 3rd? Nope. He turns to fight the Dragoon. Still, that's quite a bit of damage. The 3 gates from Probe King is eventually able to repel Hermu, but now a full transfer here, and Hermu's done a good job making SCVs during this attack. We got a pretty respectable number. Both bases well saturated. Nexus does restart for Probe King, but we can see just how few probes he has. And in just a little bit, Hermu should have a little too much for Probe King to deal with. And Sig Saucy, my friend, thank you for following. It's appreciated. Welcome to the stream. And Pliskin saying, beware the dreaded 1 goon drop. It did something. I don't know if it did a lot, but it did something. I mean, it's a better option than just walking in your Dragoon, right? Because if you walk in your Dragoon, for sure it gets 1 free siege hit. It was definitely a good decision to drop the goon. It was just, there wasn't enough tanks sieged up for it to be, like, super powerful. But it's better than just walking the poor thing on in. Alright, so we got a few vultures here. Maybe a few mines going to be laid up here at the 3rd base location. Ob's coming in here to check just how bad is his situation. And he's going to see it and be like, aw, fudge, he's already got 4 packs, and he's got a shitload of SCVs. He's mined a lot of minerals from his natural, whereas he's mined literally almost nothing. Oh, if that was like, those were Dragoons just spawning. Really nice timing for that. Ob's coming back here. Doesn't get a whole lot of probes with that harassment, but we can see already there's like a 15 supply advantage. There's getting to be a bunch of tanks. Bunch of vultures being made here. We've got an eBay and the armory. Okay, if you're gonna timing attack with like 4 facts, don't get an armory. Don't get an armory, please, please. If you're doing something, and it's not upgrading, so it's not like he's trying to do like Flash's new 2-1 build or something like that. Oh, he does start an upgrade though, but it's not fast. It's 11 minutes. Not a fast upgrade. Not a fast upgrade by any stretch of the imagination. Alright, so command center going up over here. Oh, he's actually taking a 3rd base. He's just taking a very, very safe 3rd base. He's taking a 3rd base that's so safe he could probably attack and kill Protoss right now with halfway decent control. He's been ahead in gateway count for a long time. We see 6, 7 tanks that are out. Almost equal tank to goon count, plus A handful of vultures, yeah, definitely could. Plus 2 tanks over. Oh my god, yeah, if he took everything, he could just kill Protoss. So that gives you an idea of just how ahead Hermu is. He starts that starport. Gonna run into this group of Dragoons here. Gonna check for some other bases. Not gonna find him. Well, he will find that there's a base being taken over here. But first he's gonna check top left, make sure he's not getting tooled on here with hidden bases. So overall, Hermu looking to be playing pretty solid. Probe King doesn't look as solid. We see that's a lot. Holy shit! Wait, that's a lot of idle probes though. You can have a few idle probes, but 6 idle probes. Ugh, there better have been some really important battle going on if there's 6 idle probes. And of course, we've been watching this game, and we know there hasn't been any serious battle going on. So, like when you don't have 6 probes mining, that's a pretty decent hit to your economy. Like, if you can't immediately send your first probe to mine, or like, not first probe, but if you can't immediately send a probe to mine when it comes out, like that's not the end of the world if you're keeping on top of the actual production of the probes. But at some point, like when you're letting 6 probes stack up, Dragoon slips out of position. Lay some mines at the ramp. Alright, so these goons are having to scuttle back desperately into position. Oh, that's a forge, not a cannon. What? These vultures are not really being the smartest. They're having a bit of difficulty laying mines, and they're kind of fighting one-on-one against this Dragoon. They could have just mined up and killed. But again, those are minor things. Big things here that Probe King is struggling to get his third up. Doesn't have it perfectly secured yet, and that he hasn't added more gateways, despite the fact that his money's already run fairly high. We'll probably see 1,000 minerals out of him here fairly soon, unless he really jumps on those gateways. What did he spend all that money on? Did he just? Oh, never mind. Okay, he had around his gateways he had to make. But still, Hermu is growing really nicely. Did he forget to add science facility? Yeah, he did. So he can't start his +2 very fast. Should have been starting that right about now, but forgot that all-important science facility. And a few Dragoons sweeping over here to the right-hand side, but certainly not enough to actually threaten this base. There's 4 tanks there. If he had a shuttle, had all his Dragoons together, could be a little bit annoying, but there's also plenty of tanks in natural, can easily defend. He's actually got them all in siege. I wonder if he wants to go for some sort of attack. Let's see what Hermu is going to do here. Is he feeling a window? And SCV is going to sneak around. All right, I think we are going for it. Okay, so Hermu going to roll out across the bridge here. He probably needs the siege for this. But yeah, maybe pull the vultures back a little bit. Gets a few tanks. Then we'll need to unsiege and just kind of keep pressing forward. Still on only 3 gates. I said we're going to see 1,000 minerals from him. And indeed we are. He's getting Zealot speed. Oh, okay, he actually has 4 gates, but still. With the 3rd base coming up, needs more like 7 or 8 gates against this. Hermu is actually doing a very nice job with his macro. Should be able to add even 2 or 3 more factories here shortly, and that's going to mean a lot of reinforcements for this. But actually, it looks like Hermu just wanted to do this to get his vultures out of the map. Very nice little arc here from Probe King, basically just saying, nope, you can't harass me, but the vultures have found a way into this base. On the downside, well, there's only 3 probes, and they are not being microed. Well, now a few ones being laid, and then switching into targeting the probes. Going to grab those 3. Uh-oh, be careful. Okay, so a few mines going off, and the 3rd base now going to start getting attacked by vultures. It's going to force all these Dragoons back, and now Hermu should just attack. Like, Protoss just doesn't have much. He has to go back and use all these Dragoons to defend. He might as well just go for the kill. Oh my god. Oh, well, the shields certainly go down faster, but oof. These vultures are going to work on this poor Nexus. And Hermu's just taking 4th. Going for some super macro, but he's working his way up to a 50 supply lead. And the response, what the heck? Probe King did not have a response. I think he can save the Nexus, but it's going to be kind of tight. Aw, but the vultures are not targeted on the Nexus. He could totally come back for that with a drop or something if he wanted, but Hermu is going to push in the interim here. A lot of tanks in the center. Unfortunately for Probe King, his army is coming in a tiny little line here and just getting absolutely routed. Can even lay mines over here to intercept the retreating Dragoons, which are trying to fight way too many tanks. Probe King Hermu doesn't even really need a siege. It's just got too much mass. Going to come around from both sides. reinforcing with more vultures. And Probe King is trying to meet him, but it looks like it's going to be a no-siege win for Hermu. Baller style, takes advantage of his huge early game lead and closes that one out pretty easily over Probe King. Which will... Oh, that's Gorgonoth. Gorgonoth is Probe King. Okay. And it looks like game 2. Gorgonoth has selected the 2-player map Autobahn, upon which to battle forth. Alright, so in the top left-hand corner as the Teal Protoss. In the top left-hand corner as the Teal Terran, we have Hermu. And then the bottom right-hand corner as the red Protoss, we have Probe King. And I will be right back, headed to the bathroom for a little bit of water. And all right, and we're back. And we're back. There's no CPL on Team Liquid? What? What? Hold on. We're going to go take... Oh, we got a proxy going on, too. I could have sworn it was listed. Dude, it's listed. It's up there on the calendar. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. It's listed. It's listed. I just went and looked. It's listed. All right, we're going to have... Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we need to go back in time. I guess this shit got wild right from the start. So we started with a gas steal. Started with a gas steal here from Probe King. It's super windy where I am. It's just like... Oh, there's a thread. It's linked on the calendar thing. I linked the thread. So probably if you check somewhere in that calendar entry, maybe clicking on the actual like calendar thing or whatever. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Okay, so that's the most interesting response to a gas steal I've seen in a while. Did he scout this? Or is he just a goddamn ninja? Is this hacks? No, I'm joking about hacks, but... Oh, he's got an SCV in and he doesn't see anything, so he's just... That's why. Never mind. Alright, so yeah, in a manner of speaking, he scouted this. So he's getting a bunker. We're going to have some zealots coming in to harass. He's killing off his gas. He is hiding his second barracks. I hope he just goes straight Marine Medic all in. If you're going to go for panache, be panachy. Alright, good pull on the SCV. Low SCV count, so pulls are important here. Not losing SCV is a very big deal. Probe goes down almost immediately. Zealot taking plenty of damage. SCV, run! No! Yes! Nice, 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 nice! Hermu keeping it tight so far. So far, so good, but he's forgotten a depot. a very bad supply block in the midst of all this craziness. No tech behind this. Actually, there is a... Ah, you have to get gas before you get a core, Probe King. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know better. I know you know better. Maybe it's a panic situation, but it should be less panic for Probe King because he's not actually the one getting attacked. Zealots are being pretty annoying. Probably will need to lift this barracks maybe and land it over here. Or maybe he'll just be able to stabilize, doing a little bit of dancing around the bunker. Zealots in the base just being annoying, doing zealot kind of things. What is it attacking? Oh, okay. He's attacking the barracks. Oh, skewered between two zealots. Oh, there's only one met. Ooh. That's kind of low on count. And with dragoons coming, I mean, coming being a relative word, because he went for core before gas, which is a major not supposed to do kind of thing. The only reason you guys, if anybody's like new and doesn't know why you should avoid going core before gas, the simple answer is because if you get the core first, you don't have any gas to actually use them. All right, we're getting our first SCV kill. He's almost got enough zealots that he can afford to just dive into this mineral line here and tank kills with these zealots because he's going to be continually reinforcing them. We got two barracks. We got the... Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Get the academy. Get it. Now just make, like, 2 medics and 2 fire bats and go get some... Oh, whoa. What? How in the... Oh, wow. Barracks everywhere. Jesus Christ. All right, well... sorry, this game is so unorthodox that I am completely failing as an obs. And now, Probe King is completely distracted on his home front here as his core is getting bunker rushed to death. He's not going to be able to save it. Now the Dragoons running in on the SC, or the Zealots running in on the SCVs, but they're getting glitched and taking significant losses. He's not even going to get a single SCV kill. Oof. That goes great, and now it looks like Hermu wants the bunker rush behind the mineral line, and to be honest, it looks like he's got it, and it looks like he's got the game, because all the Zealots are dead. There's no harass potential. The core isn't going to finish. There's a bunker built back here. There's even an SCV to repair. If there was an SCV to repair, I'd say, okay, well, maybe you can kill the bunker, but this is not enough. You can actually reinforce the Zealots in the bunker with this barracks here. He can get marine stuff. He's getting fire bats. I think Hermu's done it with a little bit of panache, too. Oh, one bunker over here. Marines going over here, picking off the probes. What a sneaky move. Hermu's like, you get sneaky with me, Gorgonov. I'll show you sneaky. And he made it work. A little too distracted with that proxy, so some very cute play here. Forward thinking. I can't really blame Hermu. I like the flare. I like the flare. Perhaps not the most, perhaps not a quote-unquote Korean decision, but it's a good, smart decision. And now we actually have fire bats coming out of the bunker. Down at like 4 probes. Probe King's really being a little bit stubborn here. He doesn't have any sort of other base on the map or anything that warrants staying in the game. He can't really mine any of his minerals. Oh, fire bat! More fire bats coming. He actually did get true dragoons out. He has not started to range. He doesn't have enough money to do anything. He actually has to take dragoon damage to even try to fight the bunker. Oh, fire bats, just go for the fire bat. No, go! The dragoons are stim and run! Stim and run past them! No, don't fight them, no. Oh. If it would have been another fire bat and these goons were occupied, oh. Slightly more multitask here and Hermu could be so abusive. Just so abusive. Alright, so we got 3 dragoons, but we don't have any range, so he's going to have to dive in into range to be able to do anything. I'm amazed that he's actually still able to produce anything. Must have been a little bit of banking, but I mean, we got a bunch of barracks here coming up, and the bio is going to end it if Probe King doesn't call it. Probe King working really hard. Oh my god, if he loses that probe. Alright, so he's going in for the bunker kill here. The repair is pretty strong, but there are limits to the strength of repair. So, okay, micro, but still not even been able to start range yet, and now we have the Marine Medic group moving out onto the map. Probe King showing us some high elite level fantasy GG timing here. And there we go. He waits for the Marine Medic group to come up and say GG. So Hermu will take it 2-0 over Gorgonov. Which will take us into our Tier 1 games. We're going to start with Nablime versus Napoleon. Jumping up here now to the 1650 plus MMR level. And in the top right-hand corner, as the Purple Terran, we have DST's Napoleon. And in the top left-hand corner, as the Red Terran, we have Nablime. So, what to say about this? Well, DSD Napoleon is a long-term fixture of these leagues. Been playing him for quite some time. Solid player. I want to say I would venture, unless he's really improved a lot from what I remember of Napoleon, I would peg him at probably low B. 1650, 1700 type range. And Nablime, yesterday we saw him take out Dark Matter rather convincingly with some very nice play. So, from what I saw, I think Nablime is probably the favored player in this matchup, unless Napoleon is very, very improved over the past, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, 6 to 9 months. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this matchup. Napoleon and Dark Matter played the game of the week at the very least yesterday in our cast. Fantastic TVT between the two of them. Maybe not 100% high level, as that goes without saying, but in terms of quality of action, the decisions were pretty good. It was basically non-stop action. It was a very good TVT. Dark Matter being relentlessly aggressive. Alright, we're going to get barracks here from Napoleon in a nice spot here for quick floating out. And Nablime actually putting his barracks in a more kind of traditional, conservative, I don't know what to call it, location. But, just putting it there. So we'll be a little bit faster of a scout here for Napoleon. I like his barracks position better, for lack of a better way of saying it. Where you place that barracks, that makes like a 10-15 second scouting difference. That's respectable. It's respectable. And gas here for Napoleon. No gas from Nablime, huh? So Rax FE from Nablime. And factory from Napoleon here. So we have already a deviation in the build lines. And we see a command center being dropped. No surprises there. No Marine yet, though. A little bit of a skirmish down here. Who's got the better of it? Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh! Nablime! Nablime loses his SCV. Napoleon gets a kill. So advantage Napoleon, and Napoleon is actually going to continue the aggression here against Nablime's SCV. But Nablime's going to pull it, go for a hit, go for another hit. Okay. Well, Napoleon is being very aggressive. He's getting some pretty good denial on the CC, though, and finally loses his SCV, though. Is he scouting with another SCV? Oh no, he's sending a Marine across. Okay, but there's a Marine out from Nablime. So, yeah, as long as Nablime stands in good position and doesn't do anything silly, he should get the first hit and be just fine. And of course, there's a bunker going up here also for Nablime, so that'll take care of any potential harassment from DST Napoleon, who has started his factory, it would appear. And Napoleon getting his gas up, and then we should see two factories coming down in fairly short order here. And also out to build his command center. Just going to go for that Vulture, which makes sense. Want to get that nice solid command center timing. If you're already up against a 15 or a rack CC, want to get that eco up and running as quickly as possible. And what do we have coming across the map here? A couple Vultures? A couple SCV. Huh. I don't know what the SCVs are for. I have no idea what the SCVs are for. First factory starts here for Nablime. Looks like the SCVs have been turned around. Maybe he was... I don't know. I would assume he would not be expecting to even think he could bunker rush. Because as far as I know in TVT, you almost always build a bunker if you're going to Rax FE. So I don't know why the SCVs were brought across the map. And, okay, so pretty fast second factory here for Napoleon. Nablime not rushing that out. In fact, he did opt to go for the fast engineering bay, perhaps on account of the possibility of wraiths. Doesn't want to lose a bunch of SCVs if a wraith shows up. Napoleon, wait, what? Where'd the barracks go? Oh, it's just over the CC. Alright, so Napoleon has lifted his barracks to scout. Nablime is not, because he doesn't have any units. And he's got to keep the barracks there in case of, like, Vulture run-bys. Doesn't need to have anything racing into his main base where he doesn't have any units and can't defend with the bunker. Looks like mostly vultures getting speed. So yeah, Napoleon's definitely thinking map control with vultures and possible run by here. No sign of a starport, and it looks like he's actually positioned to make another factory. So perhaps on the aggressive side here for Napoleon. We only have the second factory starting or finishing right about now for Nablime, and also being forced to get a pretty fast academy. So he doesn't know what to prepare for. So he's having to get a lot of other buildings, and that's really slowing down his unit count. In fact, we can see his unit count at 545 is 2 Marines, has yet to have even a tank come out. First tank is finally going to be out, but lots of vultures done here for Napoleon, and definitely offering some aggressive potential, certainly map control, but possibly some aggression here, depending on what happens. All right, vultures are going for it. SCVs, oh, sickest block by Nablime. He's actually going for the bunker. This can't, well, there's only 1 Marine, never mind, okay, I can see why you'd go for the bunker, but now there's a tank out, and there's a full wall, so I should probably back up. I think he's traded a little too, oh, there were 2 Marines in there, never mind. I think he traded a little too much to go for that single bunker. It's probably not the best choice, but wow, Nablime, what a baller wall. What a baller wall. He saw that run by coming and he was like, no, absolutely not. Just go away. But the spotter barracks are arriving now here for Napoleon. He sees that Nablime is basically gone for everything. And now that Nablime is basically stabilized, now he still has to be maybe a little bit worried about vultures, but Napoleon threw away quite a few vultures. Now we'll see if Napoleon goes for something crazy here with mines. But now that Nablime has gotten in all this tech, gotten in all his buildings, he's got scans. You know, he's got a lot of advantages over Napoleon at this point. Until he gets a run by in. I don't know how. Oh, actually, these vultures are very softened up though. This should not actually kill that much. Maybe if he micros it really well, he'll get like 3 or 4 kills. He's got 3 so far. That one goes down. Will this one be able to get any more kills? Probably not. Looks like it just needs 1 more tank shot. So it's taken care of, and Napoleon doesn't get a lot of mileage out of either of those vultures. Continuing to have rather high supply, given his nothing but vulture production. Vultures will supply you up really high. Oh wow, we got tanks fighting vultures here in the center of the map as Nablime hunts map position and now has to micro back from these mines. Oh, Napoleon's laying some pretty good ones here, but the micro from Nablime has been pretty sharp up until he... Holy shit. I mean, that wasn't badly done, but oh no, oh dear, okay, he's working his way towards the front. Nablime says, I want the contain, give me the contain, boy, give me the contain, I want your natural, I'm coming for you, I'm coming down on your natural. And he's taking a 3rd base behind us. +1 is started. Those SCVs are just, I don't know what they're doing. Well, they've been sorted out now. And so Nablime has a very soft contain here of the natural, of the bridges here of Napoleon. Of course, Napoleon's spotter barracks is seeing this. Oh, no, so Napoleon going for the break, trying to use the vultures, trying to get in there with some mines. See how the targeting is. The siege tank will certainly go down, but a lot of mines have been laid, and I think they're good enough mines to actually eliminate all 3 of the tanks. So, you know, that's why I call it a soft contain. Those tanks needed a little bit more support to not get broken up by those vultures, and Napoleon handles that very well. So again, Napoleon's still holding that supply lead. He is beginning to make a few more tanks now, but still prioritizing primarily vultures out of these factories. And now coming across the map with a few more tanks and vultures. 3rd base is up, being defended by 2 tanks from Nablime. And of course, you know, the fact that Nablime wasn't able to take map control was pretty important for Napoleon, because Napoleon is the slower expander. He's the guy that is going much more for vultures, which is supposed to be, and the whole big part of the reason why you play it is for map control. And so if he immediately has to cede map control, despite doing something that's designed to give him map control, that's not the start he wants. But now we see a little bit more robust army moving out from Nablime, already switching into some Goliaths. And a little transfer of SCVs coming over, so that 3rd base is online very fast. So really, Napoleon here is in a kind of must-do position here, because Nablime already took a fast base. He's got a decent number of factories. He's got that 3rd base up. These vultures are trying to lay some amazing mines, and they are getting some mine hits, but the target firing seems pretty good here. But he does pick up a few more tanks. So Napoleon is getting good mileage out of his stuff. However, he's not added his factories fast enough, and he hasn't Well, actually, he has expanded. He just hasn't added factories enough. He just doesn't have enough production right now. And it looks like Nablime continues forward on the map, but oh my god, he's walking into a lot of mines. The map is a dangerous place to be right now with all these vultures. Just one tank sitting out here, which is obviously easily killed here. Oh man, be careful. Alright, so a second tank sieging up from Napoleon. Scans going down on both players' army just to get an idea of what is out there. We can see 6 fact, make that 7 fact here from Nablime. +1 is done. Of course, the big question here is +2. Huge upgrade advantage for Nablime. Woof. Woof. Napoleon, has Napoleon even started a +1? Oh. Oh god. Oh god, I'm pretty scared now. And it looks like Nablime is also marching out across the map. Looks like the advantage from Nablime's initial base is starting to steamroll a bit. And if he starts that +2 upgrade with any sort of crispness, it's going to be just a ridiculous upgrade window here. Like a full 2 or 3 minutes where Nablime is going to have +2 and Napoleon is going to be playing without +2. Looks like with some position set up on the map, Nablime is going to come on down here and take a 4th base. Napoleon has floated out his 3rd base, but Nablime's sitting in good shape here. Doesn't quite want to walk in on this position. And we do see a drop ship here from Napoleon with that starport. And +2 has started. Napoleon has not started upgrading at all. Oh my god. This is going to be such a big upgrade window. These tanks are going to be so strong. For those of you that don't know, if you have +2 on siege tanks, no matter what armor they have, 1, 2, or 3, or 0, the +2 attack will allow tanks to 2-shot other tanks. So in these tank versus tank fights like you see in TVT, makes an incredible amount of difference. Oh, Napoleon's moving forward. Nablime actually only having 3 tanks here, so with plenty of mines, this should get broken up in fairly short order. Okay. Oh, wow. Actually, that went way better than I thought. But the vultures are able to circle back for that tank, and that's going to force Nablime to bring everything back up here towards the top. And we do see some vulture harass threatening on the other side from Napoleon. Napoleon's still holding on to some pretty good supply, in all honesty, and now his 3rd base has kicked in. He has started taking that 3rd gas, so this is still okay for Napoleon in certain ways. That's a big SCV pull because... Oh, transfer. We missed a drop. Whoops. Whoops. So Napoleon really just setting up his tank lines here. So is Nablime, and this game might be headed long. Now, this window for Napoleon here, with or for Nablime with the +2. My God, Napoleon, come on, bro, get an upgrade. It's gonna be like 5-6 minutes. Nablime is gonna have some beautiful tanks this game. He's gonna have some very nice engagements. Okay, so Nablime's coming up here, clearing out Napoleon's attempt to take this base. And of course Nablime has not taken the gas, surprisingly. It does have his 4th base up and running. And finally, for the first time, the supply for Nablime looks like it's going to move ahead of Napoleon. Napoleon had been holding down nice high supply for quite some time, but now we've kind of equalized it back out a bit. And a Wraith coming over here, since that turret has been denied. Pew pew. Okay, so Goliath coming out to stop that. Napoleon still hasn't started an upgrade. +2 is like on the verge of finishing here for Nablime. And it looks like we have some tanks and vultures coming around the bottom, but there are tanks and Goliaths down here for Nablime. Now, it'd be more common to see them set up in something of a defensive position down here. And that +2 is now kicked in with 0 for Napoleon. Mine's getting cleared off, and Nablime will retreat back and then probably siege up. Or maybe not siege up, as case might be. Someday Napoleon's going to start an upgrade. I really hope he will. I really hope he will. And siege tanks coming on down here for Nablime. And another base. So Nablime getting his 5th. He's taking that 4th gas. Napoleon is expanding to the bottom right. And now Nablime coming in here. Easily going to clean this up. Goes without saying. It's just 2 tanks. Wraith even added a little damage. Napoleon trying to get back down here. But Nablime looks like he wants to choke out both sides of the map. Gain control sort of the 6 o'clock area here with his tank lines. Is he moving forward a little too far? Probably needs to inch back towards his tanks. Or, I guess, just siege up. But these tanks, I don't know if they're going to offer the mileage he wants against the Vultures. But remember, these are 2-shotting tanks rather than 3-shotting tanks, given their power. But whoa, nice shots there from Napoleon. Nablime, again, had a little bit of trouble with his sieging. Okay, Napoleon finally starts +1. It starts at like 15 minutes. +3 on the way here for Nablime. And yeah, I mean, both players, honestly, this looks pretty decent from both players. Seeing a bunch of tanks, 4-shot tanks, no surprises there. If you can make a lot of tanks, no reason not to. Perhaps the one surprise is that Nablime is just 1 armory trucking. I mean, yeah, armor isn't as powerful in TVT, but it's not like armor is a bad thing. And we'll see if Napoleon's going to drop 1 or 2 more command centers, really get on those gas, try to equalize the game that way. Nablime has a few units sitting up here, kind of a weird position. You'd probably want to have like tank, if you were going to keep a nice strong line. But it looks like where Nablime wants to focus is on this underside here. See if he can break in and take out and section off this part of the map here for Napoleon. But we are also getting a few more units coming out over here. Again, we don't see any dropships being made. Napoleon has 1, but mostly he's just making a few wraiths from that starport. And it looks like we have the map mostly split up now. Pretty even position. So Nablime will start to lose some of his advantage. It looks like, oh, someone's going to start some dropships. Napoleon is going to start some dropships. Actually, already made 2. So we'll see if that gives Napoleon an edge here. Nablime has not been able to edge out Napoleon's map position yet. We can see that's an odd pile of units at a base down here. Wonder if he's trying to do something weird where he sneaks by. Won't be able to, that's for sure. And what's that? 8 facts? 8 facts. And a few more dropships. Science facility. Whoa! Super Wraith transition coming in here for Napoleon. Napoleon is obviously going to go heavy for it, but we got a lot of Goliaths being produced, and we generally have, so Nablime is going to have pretty good Goliaths. The main thing he'll just need to do is add a few turrets to some of his bases, maybe some of his siege lines and stuff like that. Quite a few units here at the bottom for Nablime now moving forward, and he's charging in, going for it. Remember, Nablime does have +2 if he can get sieged up here, so his tanks are much more effective, much more powerful than are the tanks of Napoleon. And Nablime is going to go ahead and break through right now. Scan going down to clear out those mines. No tanks over here. So that cuts off Napoleon here from the bottom position and gives access to this base and the relatively important 4th gas, although Napoleon is mining it with only 1. And oh man, probably should pull the Goliaths back, but remember this tank difference. Napoleon, how quickly did he start his +2? Fairly quickly, but he's got a long time before he has +2 of his own here. And so the Goliaths are going to come in here, and that's going to spell the end for the CC, unless Napoleon can get a dropship cluster down there very quickly, which he might be able to do. Now let's see if he prioritizes going for the tanks or saving the base. It looks like he is going to prioritize saving the base. So the Goliaths coming in here. Let's see how many SCVs he kills. Whoa! Oh no, I know what Nablime wants to do. He wants to try to shoot down the dropships. Ah, Nablime! Does he have range? I don't think he has range. His Goliath behaved really weird. Yeah, he didn't have range. Oh, man. Alright, so that's really unfortunate for Nablime. It looked like he was going to get 1 or 2 of those dropships and possibly just shut the whole thing down. But no range, so clutch move here, saves it. And now Nablime is going to swing over here to 6 o'clock. And looks like he's going to do this just by sieging. Always a little tricky to get up this ramp, but walking a few Goliaths up here, and he's going to clean that up. But Napoleon does hold on to his base. He did lose the gas over here, though. So that's a bit of a loss. Napoleon trying to do this big Wraith transition, but he's only being able to work off of 3 gases right now. Yeah, the upgrades. Yeah, we've mentioned that stardom. Napoleon really held off on his upgrades. And actually this base now up and running here for Nablime as well. Should take the gas, but doing pretty well. Could probably start adding some fat, or doing this. Okay. Are we going to go for... I don't know if that's Wraith armor or tank armor. I think that's Wraith armor, right? Although that would be weird too. You'd think you'd want to get weapons more than you'd want to get armor against charm boosters. Oh well, we got a bunch of... oh yeah, it is Terran... it's Wraith armor that he's going for. Is that kosher? Like, is that kosher? Is that what you're supposed to do? Or is he just going for armor? Like, I feel like against charm boosters, like, they do like 20 damage, right? So, like, -1 off that is like a 5% damage reduction. But, if you get +1 attack, then you're doing 8 + 1, you're doing 9. Wraith's going in for the turret. Okay, they get the turret. But some units here coming down from Napoleon, finishing out the last of those tanks, and gonna go to work here. Gonna pick off a few tanks, so... We've got equal counts, and first shot goes, I think, to Napoleon, and he's gonna force a run here from Nablime, who is, taking some damage, but there are Goliaths here, so that's gonna force a retreat. And the 6 and the 12 now both owned by Nablime. If the game goes really long for split map, it's looking pretty nice for Nablime, but he has actually no defenses over here. We saw obviously the drop earlier did kill out some of those defenses. Need to get a few more tanks back into that. Sometimes I research that. Oh yeah. That's why you should, probably the best is to try to always just use the hotkeys. Then it's harder to fuck up. The only one you can fuck up, I remember, as Protoss is S and A for goon range, and for air armor, it's S for singularity charge and A for armor. So like, if you hit S and miss, oh, that's going to be a lot of Wraiths. These Wraiths are putting out a hell of a lot of DPS here. Doing some work. It looks like Napoleon's got to bring some stuff down. He's coming up over here with his Wraiths. Oh, it's going to be tight though. Turret's going up like mad, but I think the Wraiths are going to fly in here. But at the same time, this base is kind of like fledgling base. A few of these turrets are going to finish. Now there's probably enough Wraith muscle to kill them. Although if repair goes down, Napoleon is losing almost all of his Wraiths. Turrets are pretty strong against Wraiths. Wraiths just don't have enough staying power. Oh, no, siege! Nablime, siege! Okay, Nablime does get sieged up. So that's probably going to spell the end of those forces for Napoleon, and also the end of this base, and that is probably about it, in all honesty. Napoleon needed that base. He's now on a mining out third base here. He's just sending stuff in here to these +2 tanks, unsieged. He might eventually get in here, but he's lost all the SCVs. The command center looks like it might not go down, but look how many Goliaths are left alive. Honestly, that can just be killed by those Wraiths. It's not that many Goliaths. The command center actually falls. He could just eat this up, and there we go. GG is called. The tipping point is reached, and Nablime takes the first game against Napoleon. I did feel like he was the favored player, and he lives up to that in this match, just kind of outplaying Napoleon at all stages of the game. And he did start with a better economic opening, and went from there. And then set number 2 is going to be on Circuit Breakers. So Napoleon has opted to play on Circuit Breaker, so let's see what we get here. In the bottom right-hand corner, down 1 game, we have DST's Napoleon. And in the top right-hand corner, as the White Terran, we have Nablime. Alright, so let's see what the game plan for both of these guys is going to be here. Will we see a variation? Of course, we see the depots going up for both players. And a barracks here from Nablime and a barracks from Napoleon, both putting their barracks rather far forward, so that's good. And of course, the gas coming up. Actually, no, never mind. Nablime is going to go for his CC first again. He's on a different kick than he was the previous week, so switching it up a bit. Command center goes down. Now last time, wait, what the hell? Oh, it's repair. Yeah, last time Napoleon was able to do a hell of a lot with his harass, but not so much this time. And oh wow, okay. So Napoleon is going to bring the rage. Napoleon's like, ah, I got beat. I got beat. I got to go. I'm going to bring the 2-fact. I'm going to bring the 2-fact pain. So grabbing that add-on here. And the first factory from Nablime. Let's see if Nablime goes for 2 factories. That's how I'm used to seeing it, certainly from a PvT standpoint, TVP standpoint. I don't know as much how it's played out against in this one, but he's going to go for vultures with speed. So again, the run-by idea. But Nablime looks to be in pretty good blocking position. And it looks like he's going to chase the barracks away for the moment. And he is going to grab that second factory pretty fast. And oh, what a scout from Nablime. Gets in, is able to see what's going on here. You can see the eBay being placed here at the bottom. So, like, this is kind of a wall, but this wall is sort of more okay because these are, like, floating buildings. It's not a wall with, like, depot walls and bunkers. So it's a... Is it a tight wall? It is a tight wall. Okay, so tight wall. We'll be able to pick off SCVs building the eBay, but there's no starport follow-up. So the defense so far is fine here for Napoleon. And Nablime... the defense is fine for Nablime. Napoleon throws down his command center. I casted some T2s doing gas lift expand. Yeah, it's all of a sudden it's the rage for Nablime. And a whole bunch of vultures just keeping that wall in here as he waits for his first tank. He's got his first tank. He's going to slide a Wraith in there. He's getting an armory of his own. This time, much faster armor from Napoleon. Doesn't want a repeat of last game. And also a starport. So, economically, the position for Nablime is very powerful right now. He's just going to be way ahead. Napoleon's supply is very high, primarily because he's been making vultures. But he does appear like he's going to be prepared for this Wraith. He has started making a few Goliaths in his factory. So the Wraith can show up, might get an SCV kill or 2, but not much beyond that. Alright, so poking away at that SCV. Will we get a kill down here? Nope. Gonna get chased away. Needed 3 more shots. That's a few too many to get. And what do we have? Do we have? Okay, that's just a floating barracks. And an attempt at setting up some sort of map position. But pretty big tank advantage right now for Nablime. And is that a second Wraith? Yeah, second Wraith is out. Are we going to make more? Okay, so he's going to stick with the Wraith theme for a while, which means this army here is very vulnerable. Although we did see Napoleon getting a Wraith of his own as well. Now, yeah, okay, so again, Nablime jumps on the upgrades, and again, Napoleon does not. But last time, Napoleon really waited forever to get upgrades. We'll see if that's a little different this game. Napoleon trying to set up here and use this high ground. Tanks coming up for Nablime. Does he have siege? Probably. But maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, shit. Oh. That's a bit iffy. That's a bit iffy. These 2 tanks are sieging up. The others are staying unsieged. Let's see how the vultures try to handle this. Oh, the Wraiths are just going to come here and clear out the tank. Not bad, but the mine back. And now the vultures want more from these tanks, trying to run in here. It looks like one of these tanks will probably fall to siege tank fire of its friend. Nope, actually, they all stay alive. Could probably do some repair on that and breaks that up. So that goes all right for Nablime. So now Nablime is at a very comfortable advantage. He's going up to 4 factories. Napoleon is stuck on just 2. Napoleon has not done anything with that upgrade yet, whereas Nablime already has his +1 almost done. He's starting a science facility. He's intending to go into very fast +2. So we are going to see a repeat of the last game, where Nablime just gets massively ahead in upgrades. And has better units. I would kind of like to see a repair on some of these wounded tanks this early on. But now Nablime just hunting for position on the map. He needs to siege, though. Napoleon trying to feel out, and there we go. Nablime does siege. The Wraith see something. But there are Goliaths there, so they will chase the Wraith away. And the Wraith had not been repaired, so it was pretty low on health. So it does fall rather easily to that Goliath. And there's a mine there, so Nablime is going to make a CC just off the mine and establish initial mid-map position. Has those 4 facts coming, and it goes straight into that +2. Napoleon again hasn't even started it, so looking at another 2 to 3 minute window coming up where Napoleon is not going to have that +2 upgrade that Nablime is going to have. And Nablime just kind of spacing out his tank line a little bit here, trying to take sort of eventually a suffocating position on down the map. tank coming over here, clearing out the mines, can land that command center, get access to that third gas. Nablime sieges up a few tanks defensively over at that base, but Napoleon is not playing quite so vulture heavy this game, but he is already on 5 fact, so he actually has a slight factory advantage right now against Nablime, but it's starting to look like Nablime has enough money to roll out that advantage, and Nablime has, well, let's see here. Napoleon's got a lot of units here, and it looks like Napoleon's going to break up this position of Nablime's pretty easily here in the center. Of course, the +2 definitely not done yet, and so the initial tanks for Napoleon doing quite a bit of work, and Nablime is going to need to pull some of his stuff and reposition here, and he's going to get choked out perhaps behind the bridges. He keeps one tank out on the map for the moment, which Napoleon just kind of ignores. And we can see that Napoleon doesn't actually want to move all the way to the bridges, which honestly is a bit of a surprise to me. Command center landing here for Nablime. And wait, what? Is he? Oh, he just came back because he saw these 2 vultures. I was like, why did he bring so much army back? Probably brought back a little more army than he had to. Transfer of SCVs headed over here towards the 3rd base for Nablime, which of course is way faster. And it's nice that Napoleon has that position, but remember, there's a pretty big difference, wow, and upgrade timing. Almost 1 full upgrade difference here. Napoleon not quite as slow to upgrade as last game, but definitely not particularly fast to upgrade. Oh, mine's going off on a few of Napoleon's tanks here, and a few vultures getting caught here. Nablime with 4 or 5 tanks. Oh, he's going maybe a little too far forward with him, needs to pull back. SCV's trying to get on top of the tanks. Let's see how the target firing is here for Nablime. Decent so far, although these tanks are not quite engaging in the fight, and the target firing is actually not perfect. A few vultures coming out now. Going to try to move forward and lay a few mines. Looks like this tank, though, will fall. And a mine gets laid, but the target firing is good enough. And Nablime heading up to 7 facts. Napoleon only just now finishing his command center that Nablime has had for a while. So in spite of these trades, Napoleon's position does look a bit threatening. But Nablime is about to be kicking in that +2 advantage. He's got a few more factories going on right now, and you put those 2 together, and that would definitely be dangerous for Napoleon. And it's not like Nablime has been choked off the map. You know, he's still out, generally on the map. Vulture's running in here to this tank line, but it's a little too solid. Uh-oh. Slightly missed siege tank there. That one will probably die. Oh, actually, no. He gets it to fall. Now that it... Does he have +2? No, not quite. We can see that the vultures are going to swing around here, and this is possibly enough vultures to threaten these 2 tanks, depending on how the mines go down. Oh, that tank was low on health, I think. Maybe just vultures just kill tanks that fast, but it's going to force some defending vultures to come over here, helping with the siege tank, and there's all of a sudden 2 siege tanks now sieging up, but mines are being laid. Let's see how good they are. There's also a Goliath to soak the mines, but he gets a lot of fire down on these tanks here, and trying to walk on top of this tank. Good move there. But the vulture here is going to get the mines needed to clean up this tank, and it's going to force a few more units from Nablime to kind of come on across the map so dangerously close to these minefields. Blows up 1 tank, but he doesn't get over here. He's going to clean out the rest of this, and now Napoleon is moving up with the rest of the units, but he's at that time now where it's 2-1 versus 1-0. Oh, and he doesn't start his upgrade. Napoleon! Is there a science facility? Is that why it hasn't? Oh, man. Okay. So Napoleon's going to be stuck again for ages and ages and ages playing against Nablime's heavily advantaged tanks. And Nablime taking some fairly back siege positions here, but he's just obviously got much, much better economy. Napoleon is only just now starting 4th base, and of course there's already a 3rd gas, so it'll soon be a 4th gas for Napoleon, which is obviously a hell of a lot. Combine it with that upgrade, and things are looking perhaps a bit rough for Napoleon right now. Although, again, if he loses his map position, things are going to look really rough. That's kind of his one saving grace right now, as he has this really nice map position. And what do we have over here? A few vultures trying to sneak over. Looks like they only got a couple of SCV kills because the Maynard had largely not arrived, and then Napoleon will come over and clean that up. Has a few vultures of his own in positioning. Oh, and okay, Nablime moves forward, cleans out. There were like 2 of Napoleon's tanks sitting back down here. So Nablime looking to move forward and clean out that position here now, and then press his advantage here with the +2. A few vultures getting caught off, and you see Napoleon sieging up. And how far does Nablime want to push this? Looks like the answer is fairly far, basically right to the bridge. A lot of vultures in here, and now they can just get on the top of these tanks and lay some mines. And it looks like the mines are almost good enough, but not quite good enough to clean up every single tank. He could move this vulture forward, but not quite. And then Nablime is just going to continue to inch that forward just a bit, and Napoleon can only just ever so slightly get out over his bridges. And yikes, the mine's going off, picking off another tank. And now it looks like perhaps Nablime wanted to focus on this set of tanks over here, but then decides, okay, maybe not, I'm not quite ready to face that yet. But the supply is starting to get rather far ahead here for Nablime. Of course, you can see this base, and Napoleon wants to expand a little bit. He's getting up a few more factories. He's getting his production rolling. Nablime is working off 4-shop tanks here. He's got plenty of gas for that with his 4 bases. He's getting ready to take a 5th base. Napoleon still no sign of +2 starting, so the huge upgrade advantage from Nablime right now really paying off. And now, are we going to see Nablime try to break off the last of this position? That will isolate just about everything Napoleon has if he goes for this. And indeed, Nablime is going for it, running in here. And Goliath's coming in to take the initial shots. Siege tanks sieging on up here as we move into this position. And he's cleaning up most of it. There's only a few tanks left to go. And Napoleon does have some stuff over here, but he's basically forced back to his bridges. It's not a good place for him to be at all. And that is going to be it for all of these units in the middle. And that means that map control more or less goes overwhelmingly to Nablime at this point. And can focus on just completely choking out Napoleon. And Nablime now incredibly far ahead. No, like, surprise transitions coming up here for Napoleon. I mean, Napoleon's doing a good job keeping units out on the map, running around, but Nablime just causing a little too much trouble. Napoleon's coming down here with some vultures. I don't know if that's wise. There's plenty of tanks there. And we're getting some big transfers here, some small groups here and there across the map, but nothing scary. And it's forcing some tanks to go over here from Napoleon. Now there's the dropship, which is kind of cool, but it looks like a few of these tanks are going to get sieged up on the high ground. Maybe not perfect positioning here. This tank is fighting admirably against these vultures, but eventually the sheer vulture numbers are going to overwhelm. And it looks like Napoleon will temporarily resecure this bottom left position, but if you look at the amount of space that Nablime controls on the map right now, it's just very, very good for him. And of course there's the upgrade issue as well. Still no sign of that upgrade. 3-0 for Nablime, 0 or 1-0 for Napoleon. He got the first upgrade, he ignored the second one. It looks like Napoleon's about to lose his 3rd gas, which is going to be a huge deal. So we're going to have, who's going to siege first? Okay, Nablime a little late to siege, and not really in range. He just pulled his tank back though, so that's nicely done. A few tanks here still helping to hold the bridges. And Nablime is just kind of inching forward, the jaws of death here on Napoleon. Pretty big supply advantage. I mean, Napoleon just doesn't have anything out on the map right now. He's got this one dropship that could be effective. He's going to try to come out across the map, maybe, and break up this position. But look at all these units here that Nablime can have after he attacks over here. And still has a tank left on this high ground. Napoleon trying to build a base over here. And there we go. Napoleon going for the break here. The target firing from these tanks, not the best so far, but does pick off a few. But right on cue, Nablime's forces arriving to here to pick off a few of these tanks, and looks like he's just going to keep moving forward with the Goliath. You know, that 3-0 attack upgrade is pretty significant, and he basically says, no, Napoleon, you can't have this position at all. A few vultures coming in to reinforce, but they shouldn't be doing that, and Napoleon does finally pull his tanks from down below on up, and that will stall the advancement here of Nablime, but too many forward tanks here. It looks like this tank will die rather easily. Again, just two-shotting. And is Napoleon going to try some sort of drop? He's going to try to drop on some of these tanks and like bomb them. Alright, here we go. We got a drop coming inbounds. Perhaps right in here on top of the factories or something. But nope, Napoleon just leaves. He realizes this position is too bad. He sees the dropships. GG's, and Nablime will take it 2-0. And that is going to take us into our penultimate series here. which will be Crane versus Ashbal. Ashbal versus Crane. So we're going to go into game number 1 on Fighting Spirit between Ashbal and Crane. Let's do it, boys. In the top right-hand corner of the map, as the white Protoss, we have Ashbal. And in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, as the orange Terran, we have Crane. So we're going to get some PvP action. See what these guys have in mind. Nothing sneaky yet. Watching for those gases. Gas, okay. So both players are going to play tech-based PvP. Core first. Will we make a Zealot? Will either player make a Zealot? Okay, so Zealot from Crane, no Zealot from Ball. Second pylon goes up. And just scouting around a little bit. Dragoon on the way, straight into range. Zealot trying to chase away that probe. And that probe will get killed off by the Dragoon here. Grab that second pylon, kind of block any sort of scouting coming across the map. We're going to go 2 gates here and 1 gate from Crane, and then 1 gate Robo from Crane. Actually, mirror builds almost from both players. Just going to mirror what they are doing here. So looks like Crane is going to come across the map here and try to flush out what Ball is doing, although Ball sees it with his probe here, so he'll just be chilling at the top of the ramp. Crane will not be able to get anything done. In fact, he needs to back up because that's way too many Dragoons here from Ball. Alright, so he's going to back up. And Ball going for 3 gates. Robo Obs. Now 1 gate Robo. So probably 1 gate Robo expand here from Crane against the 3 gate Obs from Ball. So just needs to be a little bit careful. In the early stages of this game, does Crane, he'll have most likely quite a bit faster Nexus, depending on how he plays this. Although with all these Dragoons already out from Ball, well, there's actually only 5. So we'll see. Ball's going to set up below the ramp. Now, Crane has a Zealot to tank, so that could help him bust out of this, but the problem is there'll be 3 gates worth of reinforcements. And we see the Obs. Now we need to see if this is 3-gate Robo, or if this is just if this is just going to be Obs. There should be an expansion coming up very soon. But if he does decide to play super aggressively, we'll see a Reaver and just a big 3-gate kind of Hanbang sort of attack. The soft contain here for Ball below the ramp. 2nd gateway being added. Crawl Reaver is on the way, and the Obs is headed out across the map. Well, let's see. Will they see each other? They might, but the Dragoons certainly won't see the Obs. And actually, Ball was able to get the first Nexus here, so that's interesting. Crane forced to add his 2nd gateway. He needs to be careful with this Reaver. Oh, that was a very good Scarab, though. That was a very good Scarab. Sitting right perfectly in that nook, and oh my gosh, Crane needs to be careful with that Reaver, but he gets 1 kill already. And he's softened up a few more Dragoons. Another good Scarab going off, and Ball is taking a lot of damage. Ball needs to be a bit careful here. Crane forcing Ball to move back, and this Reaver, it's debating whether it wants to go further forward still. Gets off another shot, and the Dragoons move forward for the snipe. Is it going to be worth it? Nope. Taking a lot of extra damage, and another big Scarab. And now there's even a shuttle, so now let's see. Oh, but the Obs has vision! Oh, that shuttle takes a lot of hits. But these Dragoons have been softened up, so it looks like Crane will be able to come down here. He's running down a little bit faster than he should have, and doesn't have the Reaver on the ground here. Trying to be gentle and careful with it, but he is going to force Ball back, and he kills quite a few more of Ball's Dragoons than of his own. And Shuttle needs to pick up the Reaver! Coming across the map, so we've got 3 gateways. We've got Dragoon. Is he going? Oh, he's not going Reaver of his own, is Ball. So this is very, very dangerous from Crane. With a Reaver coming versus no Reaver, it's very, very difficult to defend. You need quite a few more Dragoons, and you need to get really good service areas or a very fortunate shuttle snipe to be able to pull anything off. And hey, man, first of all, welcome to the stream, Brainiac189, and yeah, glad I can be of help. I'm glad you found the resources helpful. Dragoon moving forward. Dragoon's picking off that guy, and Hobbs is tracking the shuttle. He knows it's coming, but he's not currently going for Reaver of his own. He's trying to defend with Pure Dragoon. Now, if there were 2 Reavers here, I would be incredibly scared for Ball. With just 1 Reaver, I'm a little less scared. It's a little more... Oh, the shuttle's so low! Oh, there are 2 Reavers. Oh my god, okay. This is a very difficult defense, and Ball is getting pushed back into the natural. Now, he's able to get some shots, but look how many shots are being spent to get the Reaver, and that's probably enough just to completely soften up these goons. Now, he does have 4 gates worth of reinforcements, but these Dragoons are going to fall almost immediately. He's microing in perhaps a bit further than he needs to, but now it's just probes here, and certainly the damage is being done. Of course, Crane getting the expansion in the meantime, being well played, cleans up all of these probes. Now, there are 4 gates of production, which might mean enough to hold on, especially if Crane notices, although... No, never mind. Crane's got it. He's up on the gateways. There's two more Dragoons he can pull, and Ball is forced to say GG. Crane takes a pretty quick, efficient game 1. And in all honesty, I think the mistake there for Ball probably should have gone Reavers. 3-gate Obs usually needs a Reaver follow-up against a 2-gate Reaver attack. And the secondary thing, the other option, if you were going to play it with Mass Dragoon, would have been either the use of a battery or 2 for assistance, or trying to make sure you meet that army on the open ground and kind of force the Reavers to load and unload again to buy time and to try to attack the Dragoons, because you're going to have more Dragoons, they're going to have the Reavers, and try to attack those Dragoons and before the Reavers are down and get some damage off on them, and then keep pulling back, and then try to engage them in open ground with a nice wide flank. That's like the only real way I can picture holding on. It looks like Sylphid has been selected as the next place of battle between Crane and Ball. So, spawning in the top position here as the blue Protoss, we have Crane. And in the bottom position here at 8 o'clock or so, as the brown Terran, we have WGT Ball, who is down 1-0, needs a win here to extend the series on a little bit further. So we see Gateway here and Pylon. We see a similar looking build. Both players have opted to make a Zealot first. And Ball is going to come across here and harass. See, obviously, Core grabbing our +1 range. Oh, whoa, never mind. This is 2-gate. Oh, I missed that. So it's the 3 Zealot tech expand. So let's see how this first Zealot is handled. So far, okay. So far, okay. Oh, Zealot goes for the Dragoon. That's not what it wanted to do. That's not what it wanted to do. So that's not the best micro from Ball. So this is being handled well so far. I like the fact that Crane just kind of moved back to the minerals, drilled in the SCVs. And now the Dragoon can come over here, get a few pot shots off, soften the Zealots up, and then just kind of comfortably kite back to the minerals. You can do a little bit of fighting like this. Nothing wrong with that. Just getting off extra shots with these Dragoons. Zealots getting very softened up. Very good micro here from Crane. Crane just looking so far to be a much, much stronger player. These Zealots obviously doing absolutely nothing. This is exemplary hold here from Crane. And actually, 2 more have come across. They're just going to 100% die. Crane actually paused his Dragoon production, confident enough in his micro to get away with that. And Crane making nice use of this Zealot to continue to soak damage. And now the Zealot's running the mineral line. Still, I think there's only been 1 or 0 probes lost here. And again, these Zealots are getting softened up. There's at least 1 kill. Crane's going to move in here. He's going to drill on top of them, but there's a second probe kill. That starts to become an issue. It's not devastating. And obviously a lot of units thrown away for Ball. He's sending more Zealots. Ball, what are you doing, man? This is way too many Zealots. This could spiral out of control. Now with 3 Dragoons, range done, it's just way too much. You can just easily kite past the Zealots here. Dragoon's just going to back up, finish that guy off, and the other ones are still being sent in. I don't know why. Okay, he does turn them around. Absolutely dominated there. And now it's a very dangerous situation because Crane is on 2 gateways. He has 4 Dragoons out. There will only be 2 from Ball. Now, I guess there'll be 2 Zealots. But if this is well done by Crane, he'll kind of just micro pass the Zealots snipe the Dragoons, and then it'll be a little bit out of control. He is rallying down his units, and about to be a lot of pressure here for Ball to survive, and Dragoons getting first initial shots on Dragoons, and now it's a matter of just kiting past what he really wants to do. Well, if he can get shots off like that, like not even having to fight, that's fine. But, okay, never mind. Crane, or Ball has added a third gateway, so that's should be enough to allow him to live. But there's going to be a robotics follow-up. And no sign of any sort of follow-up yet from Ball, who is just defending that narrow choke. And Crane will not have sufficient numbers to end up breaking this. But the position is very comfortable here for Crane. Oh, okay, just trying to pop in there and see how many Dragoons are out. So there will actually, shortly, there'll be a subtle Dragoon advantage here for Ball, but with reinforcements, like Ball will be able to push Crane back, potentially, but he won't be able to actually go attack Crane. And of course, Crane should be able to infer from the number of Dragoons and the range that he can just go straight for his Reaver if he wants to. But he is going to get obs. Okay, well, that's... yeah, okay. Could have done a little more massaging of this to figure out that it wasn't going to be DTs and that there were 3 gates, which basically just, precludes any possibility of DTs, which means you might as well go Reaver first. This isn't bad for him, but... Alright, looks like maybe he wants to break. Okay, so he's going to send a probe to take the initial shots, as well as that Zealot trying to get out now. And numbers are on Ball's side, so that was not bad from Ball. Gonna force Crane on back. Will he get some Dragoon kills? Yeah, they're pathing a little bit shitty. He's getting off some pot shots. So he's gonna force Crane back, and Crane has not made the Reaver here. Now let's take a look at the count. That is 4 Dragoons, plus 4 Dragoons, plus 2 Dragoons. That's 10 Goons. Trying to fight here. Maybe that's a little early. He doesn't have numbers, but it is a nice narrow spot. Okay, so he does make good enough use of it here, buying a little more time from Ball, who is not reinforcing apparently. Crane is not gone for an expansion yet. He's going to put down the support bay. He is. Oh, he's actually gone ahead and made the Reaver. He just made the obs. Oh no, he made an obs. Never mind. He's going straight into the Reaver. Going to crawl that Reaver on out. And what do we got here now? Do we have 10? We have 11 Dragoons. So yeah, ahead in Dragoon count by 1. That's pretty good. Now the Zealot can tank a little bit of damage, but oh, actually he paused Dragoons, but definitely a very good arc. This should go okay for Crane. There are a few wounded Dragoons though, so it'll depend a little bit on what falls when. And we'll probably want to kite back against that Zealot. Nice control there from Crane. Very patient. Needs to speed. There we go. So Crane so far doing everything pretty nice. Nexus goes down. Now he needs that Reaver. Okay, the Reaver's out. More Dragoons are on the way. This defense is still a little bit tight. If Crane makes a mistake here, this could still go wrong. With the Reaver out, though, it's looking a hell of a lot better. And now he's setting up something that is a little bit better of an arc. Just needs that Reaver in position so that if the Dragoons run in, the Scarab will immediately goes off, and it looks like Crane will be alright. Going to be able to defend that Nexus, and then he's going to soon have a Reaver timing here against Ball, and he's also going to be at an expansion advantage. Oh, baits in a few Dragoons, incidentally, but nevertheless baits them in. And Crane looking nice and sharp here in this game. And Ball just kind of stuck on 3-gate Goon. He's just committed to it. He's basically got to at some point go for some sort of bust, but now with 2 Reavers, I mean, let's face it, it's not happening. It's not happening. Way faster Nexus here for Crane. Still no expansion. So Crane's just looking at this thinking, oh, okay, well, if you're just going to all-in me, this is pretty comfortable. Should be a shuttle on the way. And then attack and go time for Crane. What do we have here? 5, 6. We got about 16. Got about 10 or so. And of course, the other option though that Crane has, like he probably doesn't. Whoa, what? What the fuck? Okay. Okay. This is gonna be a YOLO swag 420 all in. 420 YOLO swag for Jesus. Coming right up. But there's a lot of splash here, so these probes are like not really gonna do anything. Huh? Alright, well, alright, props to Ball for trying. But this is not gonna work if you guys are wondering. This will definitively not work at all. Ball is going to get absolutely crushed here. I mean, the probes are nice, but, you know, a little bit of Reaver Micro is coming into a wall of splash damage, and Crane takes a nice casual 2-0. Really, really beautiful defense against the 2-gate here from Ball. The Reavers are actually just aggressively crawling forward at this point. And that's all she wrote. It's kind of true, but kind of not true, Ball. Kind of true, kind of not true. Like, the problem with your 2-gate was that you didn't just transition. You made, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. You have very limited options if you go 2-gate and make 9 zealots before you do anything else and suicide all of those zealots. But had you just made 3 or even 5 and stopped once you realized the defense was fine and then transitioned away from that, then you would have been fine. You know, and you could have just gone for Reaver. Like, you know, if you would have gone 3-gate Reaver against him, yeah, he had an advantage, but, like, good micro, you can win that. Like, the fact that you just went 3-gate Goon and stuck with 3-gate Goon for ages was not the choice. You know, 3-gate Reaver or something, that at least gives you some micro potential where maybe you can make something happen. But you were too one-track mind. It was like, no, I have to do it this way. I've got 3 gates. I got to stick. I got to make goons. I got to make goons. But, you know, there wasn't a contingency plan, and too many zealots. Too many zealots. All right, so this takes us into our last series of the night. Coming down to an end. So we have in the top left-hand corner as the Orange Zerg, Bint. And in the top right-hand corner as the Yellow Zerg, we have Kachikeen. Let's see what the builds are for both of our heroes today. Well, Overlord and Overlord, so we are mirroring each other, and bam, bam. Okay, we've got a 12 pool here from Kachikeen, and a 12 hatch in base here from Bint. I don't even know which of these builds is advantage. Normally you'd say 12 hatch has the advantage over 12 pool, but this is a 12 hatch in base, so it doesn't get access to that second gas quite as neatly, quite as comfortably. Both players are grabbing their gas. Pools are finishing shortly. Ling's out now for Kachikeen, who it's a bit dicey to have missed having 6 Lings at production timing, all things considered. Oh, 3 hatch? 3 hatch from Bint? Bint going for some 3 hatch Ling action? Looks like it. Alright, let's see how the micro is. Alright, some good initial control here. Ling superiority appears to be there for Bint, and with 2 hatches reinforcements, there should be plenty of Lings out here. And of course, Kachikeen will probably sniff this out, although there's a possibility at this moment the Kachikeen just thought maybe he did a faster pool or something, and then just threw down a hatchery. So Kachikeen might not know yet he's against 3 hatchlings, but he's about to figure it out when he sees double hatch here and unmined gas. It's going to tell him exactly what Bint wants to do. So speed is about to finish up here for Bint. And Kachikeen should have speed done, right? Oh, 4 on gas? Oh, boy, oh. Alright, so layer's done here. Lings are being made. Probably needs a sunken. He's getting one. Alright, let's see how the initial control is here. There appears to be a small Ling advantage for... no, they're actually equal numbers. Equal numbers. That's not much of an arc for Kachikeen, though. Sunken starting. More Lings come out. Okay, so for the moment, safe. For the moment, safe. Bint is floating some pretty... Oh, he's supply blocked badly. Fuck. Bint... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Okay, Bint's done fine. Oh. Just Overlord kind of there waiting. Kachikeen just taking his time. Not rushing like crazy to the spire. Just making sure he's got his defense. Making sure he has sufficient Lings out to defend. And the Overlord just kind of chilling here. And there, so good Overlord positions. Still no Spire yet from Kachikeen. So probably pull those guys off gas if he doesn't want to make the Spire that fast. He's definitely hurting his economy, mining the way he is. And Bint is just going to stream those lings all in here. Kachi King Spire, maybe? There's going to be Spire? No? No Spiral? Spire? Maybe? Maybe not? Oh, we're okay. Spire. Alright, so Kachi King gets his Spire started. Lings are in kind of a weird position. I dislike the fact they're not in some sort of nice arc. Coming in as they are now wouldn't necessarily take the greatest of fights. And Bint is just kind of chilling with all of his lings. At some point, I assume Bint is just going to like attack with a boatload of lings. He's going to actually get a lair off of this, and he's adding in a few drones trying to abuse the fact that he has 3 hatcheries here to eventually get an eco. So there's a slight chance here that Bint might not attack in. Kachi King has overlords in good planes, good places, but the issue here for Bint is I guess that Spire or that Sunken will be participating in the fight reasonably well. Second gas for Bint. But in terms of gas, there will just always be more gas for Kachi King as long as he takes this second gas reasonably soon. Now that he sees the lair, which he does see, should respond by taking the second gas. Spire's done, so we should see some muta starting, but he should take that second gas rather soon, and then he'll just always have a gas advantage against Bint, and then he can abuse the mutas that way. He can prevent Bint from basically doing anything, and he'll just always have muta superiority, can deny other bases. There'll be no real way for Bint to get anything done unless he just hits Great Scourge or something like that. Not particularly in love with Kachi King's SimCity here. I guess the Spire is hard to attack, but I would rather see the Sunkens forward. I think the Spire could have better been placed, you know, over here or perhaps right here. Something like that would have been a little bit of a better option. So I don't think Bint's going to attack. Kachi King's going to go for a Ling run by. But Bint responds pretty quickly. And now Bint has his lair done, and he is getting a Sunken over here, the natural. Again, the one advantage for Bint is that he is, as far as I know, pretty well droned, whereas Kachi King is anything but. And Kachi King is so scared of this Ling all in, he's only just now started making muta. Oh, he's made one, okay. Well, one muta chasing Bint's Lings all around the map, forcing them to run around. Eventually, Bint's going to have to just run them to other sides of the map or bring them mostly back into the main base to chill. And Bint is just adding spores like crazy, which I guess with 3 hatches he can afford to do a little bit more. I mean, his economy is definitely more robust right now than Kachi King. Alright, so a few more muta now for Kachi King. Gonna bring them all together. Bint is gonna be forced to hide at home behind those spores. Oh, man, Bint is sporing like crazy. No, it's a Spire. Oh, a Spire only. Oh man, this is really late. Like, one thing Kachi King can absolutely do is he can wait for like 10 or 11 muta and kill this spore, and then just kill this gas over and over. And just grow his muta count, and Bint can never do anything about it. And then without any gas, Kachi King's muta just become like infinitely more than Bint. So many lings that haven't been used. So many lings. Looks like 2, 3, probably about 4 control groups of lings for both players. Spire going up. Now, Kachi King won't be able to see this. Whoop, taking a few unnecessary hits from these spores. Looking for... Oh! Okay, there's one place. Although with 3 hatches to produce off of... Oh my god, Bint has a shitload of gas, though. Holy shit. He never stopped mining it the entire time. So Bint actually will be able to make a hell of a lot of muta when his Spire finishes. He has himself not supply blocked, so yeah, we should see a lot of muta make. All of a sudden he's gonna like basically match Kachi King's muta count, which seems a little odd. Let's see here. Where's all of Kachikin's gas gone to that Bint's hasn't? We've got 5. We've got 7. He is getting an armor upgrade. Looks like he wants to attack with his lings. Oh god, no, please, Kachikin. Kachikin. Kachikin, what are you doing? Please, 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 please. Gotta have everything together if you're gonna even try that shenanigans. Alright, so Bint does hatch a bunch of muta. Kachikin has a decent number of his own. Number superior. Actually, they're equal numbers of muta right now, which is very interesting, which is going to make Kachikin feel very uncomfortable. Scourge go down, but Kachikin gets a few rounds of hits off, which is good. And wait, the numbers still favor Bint, though. That +1 upgrade is on the way. And I think with the way Bint is set up and the number of lings he make, I don't think Kachikin can just, like, ling bust him. And Kachikin just continuing to pump those muta out. Again, Bint just has so much fucking gas right now. They're pretty similar there. 4,600 versus... Okay, so there's about 600 gas more for Kachikin. Kachikin kind of missed his timing to get out enough muta to pick off the spore and just be able to abuse the gas and go for the win that way. And I don't know. I mean, I like this upgrade. We got an upgrade here for Bint. One opting for Carapace, one opting for the attack. And oh man, that's pretty good for Bint. So Bint flies in and gets 3 drones? 2 or 3 drones? So that's pretty good. It's going to really start to hurt Kachikin's economy, and Bint is just looking to be in a pretty solid position at this point. I mean, he's got, I believe, air superiority now. Although there is the upgrade for Kachikin, it'll be done a little soon. Let's see, Bint has more muta. Oh, way more muta. Oh man, Bint might even be able to force something here. He has over 2 groups. He's going for the fight. He's microing more than he has to, but I guess wants to keep them active in case of the Scourge, and Kachikin just gets obliterated. Bint takes the game. That's gonna do it, folks. Let's see how the micro is here. Oh, okay. Just juking. Wait. Did Kachikin hold on? Oh, wow. Okay, well, Bint ran away with too many muta. Never mind. I thought that was completely over. I didn't realize how many muta were not fighting, and the colors are a bit similar. So, surprisingly, Kachikin kind of holds on there. Bint just should have just microed the Scourge and then came back and easily won the battle. Oh, shit! And they both hit. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Alright, so Kachikin still has some muta out, but Bint just has such a more robust economy here. It's much easier for him now to like lay down hatcheries. He spent through the entire gas bank. He's just not quite ready to commit to a fight. Probably doesn't realize just how far ahead he is in some respects. He's got his +1. Did he go for armor? Did Kachikin go for armor? No, neither player followed it up with a second upgrade. Ling's taking some hits. Just kind of some idle chatter here. A few Scourge coming in, but these will... one, I think, connected. Maybe not. Nope, they're all full health. No Scourge connected. I don't think this one was hit by the Scourge, but maybe it was? I mean, that does look to be about a Scourge hit. So let's see here. We got a stack from Kachikin, but Bint has a hell of a lot more than a stack. Like, Bint has a stack and a half, a stack and a quarter with +1. Alright, 3 more for Kachikin. Bint not quite ready to come in and go for anything yet. Now, if Kachikin flies forward, then Bint should just jump on it. Oh, Bint, go for it, man. Go for it, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't want the fight. He is taking a third base, though, so... Gonna force Kachikin's hand, maybe. Kachikin's gonna need to either respond with a third of his own or just go for it. Alright. Okay, so second armor for Kachikin. Second attack for Bint. And is Bint ready to go for it? Okay, so they are exposed. Bint microing these muta around. We're going to have the second fight. I believe Bint has slight numbers advantage, but not a massive numbers advantage. These colors are very similar. It's hard to tell who's winning the fight. Bint is microing around his one stack like crazy, so it makes it look like Bint is getting owned, but he is still microing the stack. I feel like he micros the stack too much. No, he's still got... Bint! Bint has like way more, 5 more, double the numbers, and doesn't go for the jugular. I mean, I think the reason he's microing that stack is to try to deal with Scourge. But, alright, well, Bint, stop running away from 5 muta! Come on! Oh, okay, well. I understand now why he's doing it. Never mind. There's sort of an excuse or reason for that. But of course, Bint is spilling out a bunch of his own leftover lings here, and this is a nice little stopping of the Muta here. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why did the Muta shots totally fuck up the pathing of the lings? Did you guys see that? That was really weird. Oh, 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 ah, ah! The hatchery, the hatchery's gonna live. Okay. And we're going to have a ling counter, but there's like 2 sunken, so it's probably not going to do that much, even though there are a lot of lings here. Going to simplify the game in that sense, make it just about area. And it says run by, run by, run by, run by. No, 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 run by. There we go. Good. All right, so the run by coming. Kachikine did get up that 3rd hatchery here. Going to pick off a few drones, and that's been kind of the problem for Kachikine the whole game. Just doesn't have the same eco that has, and now lings are just swarming in. Let's see if Bint comes in with the Muta now too. Kachikine all over the place. I can't tell who has air superiority here, and the one downside to Bint taking this fight is that it's over Kachikine's base, which means a lot of Kachikine stuff is soaking the damage, but the sunken is gradually getting whittled down, and it looks like Bint just has the Muta numbers, and I think this is going to be a formal GG at this. Bint, you have like twice as many Muta. Why do you keep running away from like 4? There's like 7 versus 4 that are all wounded. Okay. I mean, it's over, but Bint, there were like 5 chances you had to just end the game. Just end it. Just end it. It's like rewiring a circuit while wearing box gloves. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I like it. I like it. Alright, so we're going to go into the next game between Kachikine and Bint on Sylphid. Lmasters on Twitch, yeah man. Oh, hey Minsk and Boo, and thanks for following Proof by Pecan. I missed that follow, but I appreciate it. Alright, so in the top position as the... Ooh, with a very disastrous split. Holy Bint. Bint! Bint! Okay. Bint, I mean, you know, you played good the first game, but you were driving me crazy not winning, and then that was a little bit of an ugly start there for Bint. Obviously something distracting him. And then over at the left-hand position, 8 o'clock, we've got Kachikine as the purple Zerg pieces. So let's see what we're going to get from these players as far as builds go. Unknown as of yet. We're going to have Overlord and Overlord. Nope. Drone. 9 hatch. Kachikine bringing the lings. He's like, oh, you make lings? I'll make lings too. But it's going to be a 9 pool here. Overpool, sorry. From Bint. And Overlord coming on into Scout here. Spawning pool on the way. Yeah, left o'clock. Left o'clock a center. So we got 10 hatch lings against the Overpool expand here from Bint. I don't actually know how this plays out. 9 hatchlings usually does very well against Overpool, but I don't know about 10 hatchlings. It should be similar. I feel like there should be an advantage here for Kachikine. I mean, let's see how much of a difference there is. Yeah, hatch is already done. It'll depend a little bit on the initial ling micro, but, you know, should be speed on the way, yeah. But faster speed for Bint, so that's actually pretty good. Bint is going to turn around. Oh, if he traps the ling, no. Oh, wow, that was interesting micro. Somehow the ling, slippery ling gets out. Kachikine should be wanting to take a fight right now, especially because he's got numbers. Kachikine, you got numbers, take the fight. Take the fight, but he's going to go back, and Bint is about to have speed. So speed kicks in, and Bint is producing, and he's going for a 3rd hatchery. He's a hat Zerg. It's a weird style. It's definitely not the Korean style. Bint is trying to abuse his mobility here, but Kachikine gets off a few free hits. This is a ballsy move here from Bint, but Kachikine is going to chase. No, Kachikine, go. Okay, well, we're going to get a little bit crazy, but there's enough lings back at home to defend for Kachikine here, and he's getting the initial shots, and Bint micros back. Will there be enough lings? Kachikine's trying to get the surround. The Sunken is buying time. Is he just going to go buy the Sunken? That is a potential option here. And it looks like that's what he's going to do for right now. But Bint is actually getting a few of these lings in here. Microing pretty well, but Kachikine gets a drill, pushes those lings off down to just 1. But at the same time, that causes Kachikine's lings to go back. And maybe Kachikine was actually going for the Sunken. but unable to bust the sunken, and that means that the window is likely over here for Kachikine. We got about 8 lings from Bint. We do have a small ling advantage here for Kachikine, but more popping for Bint, and once this third hatchery is out and rolling, there will be absolutely no recourse at all for Kachikine. And so now Ling's threatening in here, but Bint should just be able to be the defender of this game here, and looks like he's going to hold. He's got 3 hatch Ling production. I mean, the sunken is very vulnerable, but it's at the back of everything, so it'll do DPS during most of the attack. And Bint is... Oh, that's a really good surround by Kachikine. Gets a hell of a lot of free hits on those Lings. Bint getting a little bit overzealous, a little bit overgreedy there. And Kachikine just streaming in Lings, definitely not minding any gas. Committing very heavily to this. Oh no, Kachikine losing a Ling or 2. Every Ling matters in these kind of fights, and Bint just says, I'm going to make a second sunken. I'm going to be really safe. Bint just keeps coming forward, trying to bite out these Lings. Playing with some serious APM right now, microing the living daylights out of these Lings. Alright, Kachikine is going to make the go for it, and it is a very good arc for Kachikine. He wants to send a few around for the sunken, and he's going to get it, but there shouldn't be enough Lings, and there's not. Even the drone pull here from Bint, that takes care of that. And now we got 3 hatch Lings versus 2 hatch Binches. Binches? The Binch who stole StarCraft. The Lings here from Bint are going to clean up what remains of Kachikine, and he should just be able to stream Lings across the map here and take it, getting a good arc there. Bint just kind of generally out-controlling Kachikine at most points and turns in the game here. So here we go. Ling's gonna swing around, looking at the back. Oh, he's gonna actually poke at the hatch. Oh, but that's a good engagement for Kachikine. Let's see if Bint just starts streaming Lings across. He looks to want to get a few into the main. Not quite able to. A drone coming up here for Kachikine. Bint is actually trying to get the hatch, which kind of causes his attack to peter out. But remember, there's still 3 hatch reinforcements versus just 2, which is definitely an issue. I feel like Bint is cuting a little too hard right now. He really wants to get a Ling in, but he's just... Look how many he's lost trying to do this. If he just would have masked up from 3 hatches and attacked, there wouldn't have been much Kachikine could have done. Kachikine didn't get a sunken down. Kachikine doesn't... He has gotten lair, but he doesn't really have a transition out of this. Bint is just streaming in Lings, but he just needs to wait. Kachikine can't match his Ling count. As long as he waits, he'll get more Lings than Kachikine. And Kachikine's not building a sunken, which is a concern. Oh, there's a good slip-in. Finally, Bint gets what he wants. Kachikine better have, like, Ling spawning. Okay, that explains why. But look how bad the economy is here. Bint definitely has more drones. He's actually snuck in even a few more drones. So Bint really likes to try to be one of these clever eco-zergs, which certainly works at lower levels. Now, if Bint starts facing players of like True Touch caliber, he'll get absolutely ripped apart. This kind of style is really hard to make work against Zergs that have really tight control. But for this level right now, Bint style is very difficult to play against. Very difficult to play against. Alright, so a few more Lings being sent down, and will Bint go for it? Looks like he's got numbers or close to it now. Coming in, just taking a look. Ooh, he's trying to bait a few in. Bint is so obsessed with trying to get Lings in. That was a pretty cool move to get them in, though. I don't know if it's... Well, it's definitely worth it if Kachikine ends up losing a drone like that. And no response from Kachikine. That's 1 drone. Oh my god, if he gets 2 or 3... Yikes! Oh my god! Oh, he misses targeting the one that he could have gotten. But wow, that's very worth it. Kachikine does have a Spire on the way. Bint is just focused on those Lings. He knows what Kachikine has, and I think he's about to finish Kachikine off here. Once these next round of Lings streams in, I bet he goes for it. And Kachikine just hasn't built the sunken, and he's up against 3 hatches. I'm genuinely surprised by that, and I think that is eventually going to cost him the game. I mean, he does have the arc, he does have that advantage, but now he's got the situation where Bint is about to come in with a boatload of Lings, and Kachikine can't utilize his Spire because he needs to make Lings. He's got a little bit of gas moving out here. I don't know what that was about. That was a mistake. I don't even know what prompted those Lings to go. And all right, here goes Bint going in. Not the best initial arc for Bint. Oh, this is actually a really bad arc for Bint. This might allow Kachikine to defend, but let's see. That's no Bint starting to get the arc. There are just too many Lings. Kaji King did what he could, but he had to have sunken, so it was 3 hatchlings. He's busted. GG is called. Bint will take that game, and that's going to be a 2-0 victory here for Bint over Kachikine. And you know what? That is going to be it for our CPL cast today. That was, of course, Week 8 Team Drag versus Team 5. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following. And as always, just thank you guys in general for being awesome. It's always a pleasure to be here, to cast for you guys, chat with you guys, hang out. And